Alrighty. I guess we're live now. 10th man's making himself a cup of coffee. Then we're going to hang out a little bit today. Have a little bit of fun. Have some good conversation at least. It's been a hot minute since 10th man and I hung out. So we've had some good back and forths lately.
Yeah, I'll be ready in a minute. I made a coffee. I'm taking a leak. I can't hear you. Give me another minute.
We're live. You're good. So, sorry I haven't been streaming much. We're doing a lot of stuff around here. Winter setting in. As a matter of fact, we're expecting snow the next Monday and Tuesday. Awesome. Great. Just what we need. That's New York for you, though. We heat with wood, so there's a lot of prep that goes into getting my household ready for the Canadian tundra that tends to hit us where we are. And it's been a shit show. I have a family of possums that moved into my heating ducts. I think I have another mink trying to get into the Fort Knox of chicken coops, for those who don't know that wonderful.
Who the hell are you talking to?
I'm live.
Hold on. I can't hear
you. 10th man.
Yes.
I'm live.
Oh, you're live. Oh, sorry. Go. I was out of the room all that whole time.
Yeah, I know. I figured I'd go ahead and just hop on in and say a little hello to everybody because I haven't been on in a hot minute. Ain't nobody here yet, but still, I don't give a shit. No, one viewer or no.
I'm gonna share you.
Huh? I hope you can still hear me.
I'm gonna share your live, dear. 1 second.
Oh, go for it. Sometimes, I have it set so you can restream, right?
Oh, I'm not gonna restream. That'll just split the audience.
Fair. You know what? Thank you. Yeah, it's been a hot minute since I've been on, but I figure fuck it. One viewer, no viewers, who gives a shit? It's gonna be good conversation. I'm kind of looking forward to going over this little skirmish you had.
It sounds like a threat. What skirmish?
The skirmish you had with Mr. Rob Noor.
You want to go over that again?
I do.
All right, let's do it. All right. Well, I'm going to be way more vicious. Listen, now that I'm kicked off Teriax permanently, from what I understand, until I hear otherwise, I have no punches to pull anymore, right? Like, I mostly just kept my mouth shut about stuff. And I try to play nice because Dusty asked me to play nice, right? He's like, play nice with people. Don't be so burn it all down vicious. But now that there's that whole thing's broken, maybe they'll all become friends again, and they'll be all banned from all their shows too in the future. It'll probably happen. Just let it happen.
Well, look. So the whole point to my channel, and by the way, welcome over here. You are always welcome here. Everybody's welcome.
What is this channel name? Because I don't think I have you subbed.
It's Culture Corrections.
Oh no, I think I do. 1 second.
I think you do. I'll make sure. Let me add you to the Discord too.
Culture. I could have sworn. I don't know. I'm working on it.
You good? Don't worry about it. My entire goal was kind of to have a place that is fairly neutral, right? Where everybody can come. I mean, that even includes Steelman. Steelman can still come in here. He just needs to stop calling me a bootlicker and everything else under the sun, because no, I'm not. That's not how it is. He doesn't need to act that way. It's bullshit.
Projection. It's kind of like what Dusty and I were talking about a night or two ago. And he said, remember I did a little interview at the end of his show. I don't know if you caught that.
No,
because he thought he was shutting down, but then there was a few more minutes left, and
I went and got in a hot bath. I
and
saw
so
that you came back up. He was like, "Oh, you're back," and I was like,
yeah, I
"Yeah,
just
I'm not. I'm taking a bath."
no, and I just came to because he had a few more minutes, right? And rather than just sit there, I said, hey, and so I said, a lot of the 99.95% of the people that say, if the government come to took my my rights and I like they would do something, they would all bow down.
They would. They would. You're right. Um, and I think that a lot of that has kind of been instilled in us and indoctrinated in us, even like through primarily through public school system. Um, that we are to kind of get in line, sit at your desk, be quiet, pay attention, follow instructions, right? Um, I think a lot of that is just preparing people. And it's like, yeah, nah, out on the recess yard, everybody talks about how, they're going to put tax on the teacher's chair, but nobody actually fucking does it, except for the one, who ends up getting expelled and all of that bullshit. But you're absolutely right on that. Steelman, though, he had come in and, I'm totally cool with having Steelman in. I think I don't want an echo chamber. And I want people to actually feel like they can talk about shit over here, and especially things on a more micro level that everybody deals with, not just these big topics that we see getting debated all the time over and over and over again. Um, Unfortunately, there was a big blow up in my Discord. He may have threatened some mods, and so therefore he got booted. And it was very hard for me to do that because I don't want to have to boot anybody. But he was asked nicely to chill down. He didn't. It's shitty. He actually made a hilarious video. Holy shit. It had me in stitches. Maybe we'll look at that too after your Rob Noor thing. It is pretty fucking funny.
No, let's do the Steelman thing first. Oh, please tell me he showed all the Discord messages and everything.
No, no, no. It's just a
Oh.
compilation of people talking about how horrible he is.
Oh, I saw that already.
Oh
I
my
shared
god.
that and everything. Yeah. Oh, is that what prompted all that? Okay. See, he
No,
added me in it.
that
He
was
tagged me in it. And
that
I'm
was
like,
before because he didn't.
oh,
That was before the big blow up in my
because I'm
Discord.
in the comments. I'm like, why'd you tag me in this? This has nothing to do with me at all.
That was hilarious, though. The video was actually really funny.
I think he
But
wanted me to review it on my show or something. You know what was really weird? That exchange that I had with Duck on Sarah's last time. Because like I don't reach out to people often and say, hey, I would really like to have a one-on-one conversation with you. I find you interesting. I don't normally do that. And he's been in my chat and he's refused to come to my show and allow me to interview him, and I don't understand why.
I think Duck is really interesting.
I think he's scared of me
I like
or
him.
something.
It could be. I mean, you are a very
But I
abrasive.
like him. I have no animosity towards Duck.
Well, I hope that he sees this and hears this. And although I'm sure I think he would have gotten that at Sarah's, though, right? Like,
I don't know. I don't go live anymore. But if he messaged me on one of my videos and said, hey, are you available today to go live? Then I would, work it out.
yeah, I think Duck is super interesting and has a very complex mind in that. Like, he uses more words to say things than most people do. I find that, like, even I've gotten in trouble for, like, at one of my last debates, that was one of the criticisms from Grid 1 was you use 10 words to say something when it only takes 3. And it's like, well, I didn't mean it's not like I'm meaning to drag on. It's a matter of the way my brain is processing it is how it comes out, especially in a impromptu debate, right? Hi ZD Den, good to see you. So Yeah, I think Duck uses 3 times more words than I do, and sometimes it's very abstract the way that he presents things. So, you actually which can be useful, right? When somebody triggers you, they'll say, it's almost like how Jesus told parables, and we've seen other, leaders throughout history do this, where they'll use a story to make a point where you actually have to think about what's going on in the story in order to understand the point. Um, so I think there's a place for that. That's all.
Everybody's a pussy.
And there you go.
Not everybody. Anybody says this, that's the thing. Anybody who takes offense to me saying everybody's a pussy is a pussy. Like that's the whole point of 97% of the things that I say to agitate people. If you take them personally, I feel bad for you.
Yeah. I do want to be clear because we're going to look at that because honestly, I found it humorous. I can't even help it. And I kind of want to go back. I want to look at how it ran through and primarily your tactics, the way that you deal with um debating itself, right? And making arguments. That's part of why and I mean you're fucking hilarious. I can't I want to be very clear. I have no hate towards Rob Noor. I have no whatever. I don't watch his show.
Me neither,
I'm
but
not a
he's
fan. I'm not a
just
fan.
not entertaining to me.
What's that? He's not entertaining.
I don't just like I said to him. I think it was on that day when we first started talking. Like, well, actually, when we got into it, and I'm like, I've never watched anything that you're on because if you start talking and you're debating or whatever on Sayers, I usually just turn it off and watch something else. And it's true. Like I will, if certain people when they're talking, I'm like, you do not have anything to offer me whatsoever, and I will mute it, switch to a different tab, play, unmute that one, an auditing video or something, and I'll come back after that video is done, and then I'll start watching again. And that's what a lot of people do.
Yeah. Um and so yeah though, I just want to be clear that it's like, I mean, I have friends on both sides of the aisle with all of that bullshit and I don't want I love everybody. I don't That's why I wouldn't take a side. I'm like, dude, I love you guys, and whatever's going on with them has nothing to do with us. So fuck that shit. Leave it over there. If somebody made something that was making fun of Dusty and I found it funny, I'd laugh at that too. In his face. In his face.
And
He knows
Dusty
it.
would laugh too.
He knows it.
Well, yeah, but no, everybody's a. I don't find Dusty to be a pussy. So I've always told Dusty what I respect about him is that when I come back after we had a argument or whatever, that it just is ended. It's deaded. Like I don't see that he then holds animosity later on. I don't hold any animosity. I really like I don't take what people on the internet say about me or to me into
Seriously.
myself into myself in any way. None of the people on the internet know me. Anybody who really does know me knows who I am. And I'm actually politically correct when I'm live compared to what I am when I'm backstage, and you know that.
Yes. Yes. I've had that's why it's like I said.
When I'm offline, I'm the most disrespectful,
You're fucking
vulgar human being on the planet Earth. So much so that when I got pulled over at the beginning of this year, I got a hate speech video takedown, and I wasn't even. I was literally just swearing and saying C word, F word, other F word, like just every expletive that you could think of, and boom, hate speech. And it's like the world is so nerfed that a person like me has only two choices: be more outrageous or shut up.
I grew up around very outrageous people, right? Who were very over the top. So I think that's why it's like characters like you. It doesn't bother me. Um, and it takes a lot for something to actually bother me. Like there's certain things where it's like, yeah, no, that's always going to be an issue, and there's certain topics that like I do not like to touch at all. Which makes us going over the you and Rob Noor debate even more funny, is because race is one of those topics that I absolutely freaking hate uh covering. What ZD? Wait a second, you're going to a Harvest Moon Fest? That is pretty badass. Awesome. Thank you for stopping in and saying hi. I
You
appreciate
know
it.
that my husband and I celebrate Halloween instead of Christmas?
I believe, yeah, that sounds about right for you.
Well, it's just, you know.
You know, Christmas is just as pagan.
I worship the dead.
I'm just saying, Christmas is just as pagan. I mean,
No,
sorry.
I worship the dead.
What, like,
And the
okay,
achievements that they have made.
okay.
As our ancestors is
So, but
disgusting.
so you would take it from like for instance, I do try to honor and respect the dead, right? Um, but worship, what, where does the difference? What is the difference for you between having that honor and respect moving into worship and reverence?
I just it's a figment of speech. Worship the dead, right? Like I have a whole lot it's kind of like this. I have a whole lot more respect for the worst of humanity's humans. Like for instance, Ed Gein, right? That I've only recently learned about this year, the full extent of how the madness that entailed, to the point where I'm actually traumatized by it.
I
And
feel
I'm
bad for that man. Can you imagine? I can't imagine being inside that brain for a second. And what his mother did to
oh,
him
I
was
can.
absolutely horrific.
Oh, I
That is
can.
a perfect example of nature versus nurture within creating a psychopath, right? This was one who was
Mhm.
nurtured into being a psychopath, and it wasn't necessarily part of his nature at birth. Because I do think that he had emotions that were not his emotions weren't shallow. Do you know
No,
what I'm
but he
saying?
had schizophrenia. He had a compounding problem with multiple mental illnesses. It was nature and nurture that bred literally the most evil human beings on an individual basis. I'm not talking about warlords that went and commanded armies that murdered people. I'm talking about a man with an over 200 body count. And that didn't include the exhumed ones, as far as I'm aware. Like
Yeah, kind
the
of.
madness, right? So I think you might have heard me talk about this on a show. I don't know. I got kicked off a few shows talking about this, and it's a running gag now on TikTok, which is funny and also very morbid. But like when he met up with his girlfriend and they were trying to do it, and he goes, "You're too warm."
Yeah.
Like if he actually said those words,
That's pretty
like that's just something I can't. I like. I'm one of the darkest people that you'll probably ever meet, but like it takes a special type to go into that.
for real.
That's something special. That's an anomaly.
But we do end up seeing it, which is I don't know, it's very conflicting for me to try to
Mother
but
says that we shouldn't fornicate before marriage. That's what
and yet
it
I think that the position, because there is an aspect where it's very rare that you get monsters that are created by a combination of nature and nurture at the same time. Usually, there may be some proclivity within the nature that helps foster the nurture, right? But more
Okay.
often than not, it's something, it's a change, it's almost like a disassociating, right? When it comes out of the nurture aspect. Think Lord of the Flies. These kids are left
Yep.
on their own to figure out, and it
Yep.
devolves into some hedonistic behavior just for
Mhm.
the ability to survive, right?
Yep.
And that is where you can definitely see the nurture aspect, where people will do things that are outside of their nature that make a change in their brain, the way that their brain delivers messages and processes information. Um, so I think when it comes down to when we're looking at somebody like Ed Gein, um, it's rare to find that combination of the two together.
Okay. So, but then what
Do you
is more? What is? Go ahead. Good.
do you think that his nature
Yeah.
towards being that way and seeing things that way
Yeah.
was strong enough to how significant do you think the nature part of it was with him? And before you answer, real quick, Agrolopolis, is so good to see you. My mod with the most. Guys, show this man all the respect in the world. He is awesome. I'm going to be meeting him later this week in Nashville. Can't wait. We'll be live streaming together. It's going to be fun.
Hate that guy. Who are we talking about? Agropoulos?
Agrolopolis.
What's up?
Agrolopolis.
What's up, Agropoulos?
Yeah, Agrolopolis. So how?
So I don't understand. What was your question? Nature or nurture? What?
So
Which
with
one was
Ed
that?
Gein, we know that there was nature and nurture,
Yeah.
right? There's
Yeah.
an aspect of both.
Okay. Do you believe schizophrenia is a real thing?
Yes.
What is more sick? The person that spurred dozens of horror movie and television
Fair.
genres, literal genres. So Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
But here's my argument.
One second. So Silence of the Lambs, Psycho, all that stuff, right? And that people go in mass to see these morbid things. So what is more sick? He that does, or he that watches that person do and says, that's cool?
I think that especially when we're looking at the movie aspect, right? And movie goers, people who enjoy horror flicks and whatnot, more often than not, they're able to disassociate it from being real. This isn't a documentary until
Okay.
it becomes a documentary.
Yeah.
Because it's like you said, you didn't even realize that Ed Gein
No, I did, because I knew the Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing was after a real person. But I didn't know that all that other stuff,
That's what I'm saying.
Psycho, Silence of the Lambs, I didn't know that all. So I did know the myth and the legend of, but I didn't know his name was Gein. Like, I didn't know the in-depth parts of it. And I'm a huge horror movie buff. I think I showed it to you guys a few months ago, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie poster on my office door here.
But
I didn't know that. That's like that. Like, I've seen that movie like 80 times.
My point is that to a degree, we are able to disassociate it from reality when we're watching it on a TV screen. With actors doing it. Now, if we were watching, like, for instance, okay, here you go. Perfect example. My mom, she was a huge horror movie fanatic. I saw all of those movies when I was a young child. It fucked up my childhood. Okay. Really fucked up my childhood. I did not process it well at all. I had a lot of fears growing up. Okay.
It's okay. I was scared of the very first Thriller when it was on TV in 1982 or whatever. I hid under my bed. I was scared. So I get it.
We lived across the street from a sprawling cemetery. Like, it took up part of 2 fucking cities. Huge cemetery. And I was absolutely terrified to play outside or go to bed at night after seeing Night of the Living Dead. Okay. fucked me up badly.
Trying to make you have a panic attack.
Thriller won't do it for me. Thriller won't do it for me, and I've gotten over it now because I worked in death and dying for over a decade.
Right.
Now, the first death I saw was an issue. The first time I saw a body move after death was even worse.
Right.
I didn't sleep for 2 days. I was fucking,
Oh,
no, literally, his head rolled over towards me, his eyes flipped open, and he
happens.
exhaled, like he made an audible, and I was like, I freaked out. I didn't sleep for 2 days. It was so not cool. But so watching those movies had that effect on me. However, I remember when my brother-in-law brought over the video footage to my husband and I, my ex-husband and I, we were still just dating at the time. He brought over the footage of one of our contractors who had been taken hostage in the Middle East, and they beheaded him.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, I wish I didn't.
That exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That I couldn't even the Charlie Kirk footage, right?
Yeah, I know. It makes me
I
see the reason I don't like it makes me want to harm people. Seeing harmed others. That was the kind of what I was trying to say about that. I think that Ed Gein is in all of us.
I think more so, and I'm not throwing this out there as a shot, I think that tends to be more so on the masculine side than the feminine. There are women who are
that's true.
There's women who are like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but they're different.
Men have that aggressiveness to them where, seeing people hurt and we see it with like mosh pits, right? Look at how quickly a mosh pit can grow with a bunch of guys.
Yep.
However, when you're watching a movie where you're watching Silence of the Lambs, it's not that horrifying, right? But then when you see that footage of our contractor being beheaded in the Middle East or Charlie Kirk getting shot, the up close footage, it's instant, I mean, especially for a lot of women anyways. And even some men, I mean, there were men who went to their women and were like, no, even Andrew had said, he told Rachel, don't watch this, And I remember I was on OG's panel and he sent the link privately in Discord and I dropped my phone and
I cried a tiny bit because I was live on Glenn's and I'm like, oh God, no, this is going to be a trans thing. I'm going to have to talk about this. And then for weeks afterwards, everywhere I went, it was like, so 10th man, you're gay. Why don't you tell us about the trans shooter? And I'm like, oh God.
And even that is I don't agree with
of the supposed furry that, as far as I'm aware, as of a day or two ago, has disappeared from existence, and no one knows where they are. Ain't that a coinky dink?
I think, though, that back to the point at hand, I do think that there is a dissociation that we can make as human beings when we're differentiating between a horror movie with actors and footage like the Charlie Kirk shooting or that contractor. So it's not, no matter what your nature is, I don't see, there are some people where the nature is so strong. And here's my problem with Ed Gein is that schizophrenia, typically, it's very rare for schizophrenia to set in with children. It usually sets in mid to late 20s
as your brain starts to fully form in your 20s. Yeah,
exactly. And so therefore however, we know for a fact that he had issues. He was doing kind of sick stuff, essentially. Not all of it was necessarily sick, but there's a lot of people who would deem it as being sick stuff when he was younger. I think there was far more nurture involved at first to create that monster. And then later, the nature with the schizophrenia clicked in and took over and took it the rest of the way.
Do you think mental illness is catching?
What do you mean?
Is what's the other word? Communicable?
Just some of it can
Like
be.
stupid.
Like what?
Like how stupid is a social contagion? Do you think that,
Okay,
say, you know,
what is it?
the mental
Mass
illness that we
hysteria?
saw from everybody after the Kirk thing and becoming hysterical about it?
Yeah, people. I think that exactly mass hysteria, things like that are. I Is schizophrenia contagious? No. Is dementia contagious? No. Alzheimer's? No. There's a lot of things that are not. And then there's
What about
also
group hallucinations?
that one is
That's
interesting.
schizophrenia.
I think that falls more into group hysteria.
Yeah, I see it as the same. It's a trick of the brain.
Fair enough. However, it's not something that would naturally like it'll occur naturally on its own essentially, but it's not like it's in the cards like a predetermined this is going to happen, whereas like schizophrenia, if you have the issue, like once they identify it, they're able to say this is going to set in within this age frame and it's going to progressively get worse, right? And I do not believe that. And here's the other thing is I've taken care of patients who had schizophrenia. One of my favorite patients in the whole wide world had schizophrenia. She was so cool. She actually saved me a couple times when I was getting beat up by patients who had dementia. Um, I don't think, I think that we tend to demonize them unjustly. They're not all, violent or bad. They're not bad people.
So what about my statement that we all have a little Ed Gein in all of us?
I think that it's possible. I think that there's always the possibility for, but not to the extent that he was, right? That's a special kind of monster where it's a perfect storm
I
of
understand, but we got Dahmer, very similar. We got Gacy, very like that's the thing is, unfortunately, my
Bundy.
husband has a huge fetish. Since I have been hurt and not working full time, I fall asleep at night to forensic files and crap.
I
Right?
love
I
Forensic
hate
Files.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Last night I laid down and I was like, we saw this before. And my husband goes, yeah, the red truck. Right. So like I know too much about this stuff. And it all began with a just morbid curiosity for horror films.
And
But
let's
then
talk about morbid curiosity,
but
right?
my husband,
Oh,
so what I'm saying, I'll finish.
sorry. I'm
Is
excited. My bad.
no, I get you, but is that now I've seen too much and I don't believe that there's a such thing as a good person. There's just people who have circumstances good enough that they aren't put into a position where they have to make horrible choices, right? And then
Right.
after you step over those boundaries, it's a progressive thing. Then that's why I have very strict rules in my mind.
About like,
Harming others, like I don't have feelings like other people, right? My husband and I will, like, one time we were watching a Ted Bundy
so you would put
documentary.
yourself somewhere on the psychopathy spectrum.
I know I am, but
Okay.
my
I think
husband,
my
when
son is, so don't
we were
join me.
watching Ted
I'm very
Bundy, and
psycho.
and the guy goes, like, the investigator or whatever, and he's like, and all of these specific traits, it has no friends, blah 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 blah, like all this goes to, gets angry about things that are very small, and um they like explained like his personality, and my husband literally just looked over at me,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, so how does that make you feel? And he's like, it's exciting, right? And what it
Yeah.
really is the nature of human beings to know that when the wolf comes, I will pull a Liam Neeson, and the wolf might get you, but he's going to get to you through me. I'm going to use that tape. I'm going to strap the tiny Mickey bottles to my fists, and we're going to have a wolf fight in the woods. And the wolf might get you, but you might get away because I'm gonna fight the wolves, right? And that's what they act. That's what that and then that's why he likes it, because he knows that I have that switch
Yeah.
where it's like, oh, this is gonna be fun.
So, first of all, thank you for being authentic and like open about how you are. And I'm saying that because a lot of people wouldn't, right? Especially with the stigmatism that gets put on some that particular brain chemistry that comes with like the psychopathy spectrum. All right,
Yeah.
like I married a man who is absolutely diagnosed people. It's not actual psychopath, right? Psychopath is like the umbrella term. It's just the slang term for ASPD or antisocial personality disorder. And with a lot of these people, for anyone who doesn't understand, the only things that make them feel good tend to be things that would scare a normal person or cause us to have like an adrenaline dump. Um, something that along those lines. That is how they feel good. Yes, they have emotions, but they tend to be very shallow, very fleeting, and usually about something that's happening directly to them. They are capable of caring about other people. However, there is an aspect of it that's kind of self-serving. Now, my ex-husband was that
No.
way. My son, huh? Would you say, Tim?
No, definitely. That's nothing like me. Go ahead.
Nothing but love for it, though. I mean, it's hard to come out and actually talk about that stuff just because of the stigma that's put on it. But in all
Then I wouldn't
actuality,
have came to the internet if I didn't want people to see my psychopathy.
the number, the sheer number of people that are that way is like people don't realize how many there are. It's something like one out of 20 people that you cross today on the street is somewhere on the psychopathy spectrum. Um, in bigger cities, it can be one out of like up to like 1 out of 4. Um, and I'm actually gonna be diving really deep into the studies on this stuff. I'm really excited to do it. Um, so hopefully you're gonna be part of it. I kind of have been schmoozing Dusty. There's a few episodes I definitely want his input on, as well as Grids. Um, I think that it's not it's hard to find people where they actually have enough Ed Gein to actually do the majority of even a fraction of what he actually did. I mean,
Yeah, but I'm very. I mean, maybe I'd be creepy like that, but I'm very OCD. I don't even like people touching me. I don't shake people's hands. Like, don't touch me ever, ever, ever.
that way. Ah,
Just don't ever touch me.
have you ever have you had your have you had like genetic panels done on you by any chance?
No, I would never allow something like that.
Yeah, see, that's the funny thing is, so like for those who don't know, so my ex-husband and his brother spent they were taken from their mom was a single mom, their dad had left, there was abuse in the household, and my mother-in-law, she was a big drinker and she lost custody of the boys. They spent a lot of their childhood first in foster care system. And then by the time they hit like 12 or so, they were put into the juvenile facilities. Um, Around the time that that happened, our government was actually doing a study on people. They were looking at prisoners who carried out the worst crimes, right? Unaliving, arson, and rape were the main ones. And they did genetic panels looking to see if they could find any similarities amongst all these people, all these different people who committed the same types of crimes. And they were able to find that there was like an extra Y chromosome and something with the MOAI factor. And so what they did was,
is that the inhibitors
um,
in your brain?
I think so. This was
Yeah,
a
Go ahead.
delay.
Yep.
It turns it what it is there's a with people it can be faster, it can be delayed. And with people who are diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder and commit these types of crimes, things that should make them feel happy have a delayed effect or no effect at all, right? And
Yeah, it happens to me all the time. You guys will all be joking around and everybody be having a great time on a panel.
yeah,
And-
you laugh last.
No, and I'll be sitting there going, I don't understand how everybody can be this happy when the world is so horrible. Right? And it
Yeah.
just don't it but I just go with it. I try not to I try not to see that's what I learned these things as a young child, and that's why I like Dexter so much, because it's
I love
kind of
that show.
how he had to like learn how to operate with the other dumb monkeys so that they didn't see him as a pariah. And that's just what I learned to do. And I try not to let my my psychosis and my overanalyzing of things. But you've seen.
Well, you overanalyze it because you're not having the same kind of
I get
reaction
you.
as the rest of us. So
You've
that
seen
makes
sometimes I might go into that mode and then things go bad.
happens to the best of us. But what's really interesting is when they identified this genetic similarity, they then went to the juvenile facilities and started looking at the most aggressive, especially boys within juvenile placement. And their idea was maybe they could control these children enough and raise them up to be essentially like super soldiers, right? That's why we had MK Ultra, was they were trying to make a super soldier. They just went about it the wrong way. So now they shifted, and this would have been, I think, in the 90s that they shifted and started looking at, ASPD in particular to see if they could create soldiers who were capable of going in and doing the worst shit and not feeling bad about it later. But
Yeah, but there's a problem with that.
yeah, there's a big problem with that. The further
tell you
off
what it
the
is?
spectrum you are, the less controllable you are, because
Well, yeah,
you have
'cause-
to have something that incentivizes them to want to do what you're telling them to do.
Many people have said, hey, 10th man, you need to seek mental help. And I've told everybody, I have been to dozens of mental health professionals in my life. And
Yeah,
every single time they say, I'm sorry,
there's
but
nothing.
I can't treat you. And there's a reason why. And the same reason is why it's a bad idea to do what you're saying about the super soldiers. Is because when I go into a situation, like even this, me and you right now, or with a psychologist or anything like that, you're not counseling me. I'm counseling you. And all you're doing is teaching me things about you every time you speak. Every time you ask me a question, your question taught me something about you by the tone of your voice, the movements of your body, your facial expressions. Everything about you is teaching me something about you. And then, however I respond to it is not a response to your question. It's a response to elicit a response from you to understand how you're going to respond to my response. Right? So as soon as you put a person like me into a position where it's like, okay, we're going to teach you how we do secret operations. It's like, oh, you just taught me how to do secret operations.
Yo, and
Thanks.
that was the
Thanks. I'm
problem.
totally using that against you when I don't like you no more. It's Suicide Squad, right?
Yeah.
They get the worst of the worst, and they go, okay, we need you guys to go out there. And then the whole time you're like, I'm not really sure who's in control here. It doesn't seem like those people care if they die. That's the whole point of why it's a Suicide Squad. They're like, yeah, whatever. I've done such bad things already. Like, I'm living on borrowed time.
Exactly. And it's even worse because they don't feel the same things, right? That it takes something totally different to spark the excitement for them, right? And the gratification level. It's a totally different aspect that is gratifying. And that's what they ended up finding too. And unfortunately, they did teach a lot of young boys who were on the dangerous side of things. Different techniques that ended up being very useful as adults. My ex, he had told me they did stuff like they started off with like monitoring their vital signs and wanted them to lower their or blood pressure using their mind. And then they said, now we want you to lower your body temperature using your mind, and we want you to like there were all these exercises that they would do that surrounded their physical reactions to different stimulus, um which then, if you take someone who is a dangerous individual as an adult, they're able to really stay composed in some pretty fucked up situations, which for the most part, they might have been they can do that in like Scott Rouse always says, the best test for psychopathy is like, imagine if you're walking down the street, you're gonna go get Chinese food for dinner, right? And you're walking down the street and there's a horrific car accident and there's a mother who's sitting on the ground holding her child and she's wailing and sobbing, and this is a car accident, right? If your first thought is, yeah, sweet and sour chicken, and you just keep on walking, you might be a psychopath. But what's even worse is what they'll tend to do is, because they see these expressions and they don't, they're still learning, they don't understand what the emotion is behind it. But what they do is they'll practice, because they at least notice how people are responding to something that's happening. And so they'll learn how to mimic it so that when that happens again, they at least have a mask they can put on, right? Because they know you're different. You know you're not like me. You definitely know you don't have my empathetic levels. I mean, shit. That's my biggest downfall.
See, but I actually do, because I've been able to learn, like I was describing, about every single aspect of communication between another person. I'm reading things from you, right? Like it was really weird to me because I've been
that type of individual is constantly analyzing
Yep.
everyone around them, whether because they don't understand the emotions connected to it or because they're trying to figure out how to fit in.
Well, I used to tell people this since I was very young. It's like, these different things you can see. And then in the early 2000s, no one believed me. And then suddenly they're like, okay, so we're developing these computer programs that can do all these things that human beings can do, but only a certain amount of human beings can see these things. And now we're going to teach computers how to do it. And I'm like, motherfuckers, stealing my special gifts and giving them to computers. It's disgusting.
Do you think AI is going to be capable of what do you think the risk, like percentage wise, is it 100% likely that your cleaning robot is going to develop and take you out in your sleep?
See, this is the problem. Everything comes from our imaginations, right? So, like, I used to have this discussion with Teriak, and I think you were there one time, about the like metaphysical, right? And so that's people go, oh, you always reference sci-fi and blah blah. It's like, yeah, and you bring up Epictetus and Socrates. Like, it's no different. It's still meat. It's still ideas. Like, so those ideas are more valid because they were old and in a book, and mine's on a screen or whatever. That makes no sense. So, one of the best well, there's two. But one of the best depictions is Battlestar Galactica, right? And
Okay.
they take it to the absurd level of AI consciousness that then develops human hybrid robots that are indistinguishable from human beings, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
so in the end, it all ends up being because of the gods and the angels and but that's not the point. The point is their ships, because the AI and the Cylons had previously taken over, none of their ships were allowed to be networked. They went to all old, like I'm talking about, like sick bay was not connected to the mainframes on the bridge. The bridge wasn't connected to engineering through the
Okay.
computer systems, because otherwise an AI would be able to propagate through the entire ship, and you can't allow that to happen,
Yeah.
right? So I don't believe that it's that extreme. What it is
Well, I know we were talking about it over on Dusty's the other morning about whether or not your cleaning robot's going to smother you in your sleep.
right, but it's less that and more the ineptitude of human beings that's the problem, right? Because you got the 5 laws or whatever it was with iRobot, blah 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 blah, and I don't believe that any of that is the problem. It's when you give a computer the ability to choose, then like omnipotently, right? Like without you setting the parameters for it, it's going to make bad choices because it's going to say, oh, those 1,000 people that put a tremendous amount of value on filling up their pools because it's part of their day-to-day life. Like, if they didn't have those pools, then it'd be a drastic change to their lifestyle. So we're not going to worry about that fire over there. We're going to give the water to the people with the pools and not the people that are on fire, because the AI doesn't understand that fire is a very serious problem. It goes back through the entire algorithm and goes, oh, well, it'll be less resources used. We won't have to worry about those people having water again in the future. It'll be a better life for the people that had the pools. It's a
But I think,
win-win for everybody. Like those
but
people on fire mean nothing. That's what the AI crisis is. But nobody wants to talk about the reality of it. They want to talk about the nuances and their figment of their imagination. The real truth is the AI puts no value on human life. So the pools are more important than the human life.
I also think there was a situation where an AI program was, like warned ahead of time that like some
The
there was
blackmail
something
and
about like
the
it's
attempted
going to
murder and all
destroy
that.
you if you
Yep.
do not, like, the AI was able to
Yep.
have some preservation for itself.
Because they taught it
Not
to.
necessarily. So you think it's something that
Of course.
we're teaching already?
No, they gave it those parameters to work off of. If the computer had no idea that being shut off was a bad thing, then it would never have cared. Do you understand?
Yes. Arctic Timberwolf. So I agree with you that all right, you said, in fact, here. I'm gonna figure out how to, I know how to do this. I've done it. Here we go. All right. It simply takes a man with a heart hard enough to do what's necessary so that evil does not exist in this world. I agree with you. The entire point to the whole super soldier thing that they were doing was literally an attempt to negate a lot of the PTSD issues that we see in the aftermath of soldiers having to do, some pretty horrible stuff sometimes. Now, the problem is that you can have people who look at it this way. The likelihood is, though, like we all know there's a spectrum of how empathetic people are, right? And what the focus was they wanted less empathetic people. It doesn't really, I mean, what you're saying is absolutely valid. It just not the entire picture, if that makes sense. Um, because you're still going to end up with some soldiers who are physically qualified, who are trained and qualified to do this stuff. But once they get in that position, um, it's not even necessary. You'll have some that can't do it in the moment, and some that do it in the moment and later on can't live with themselves for having done it. The whole thing was a failed thing anyways, because the problem is that these people are not, their number one interest is themselves. Okay, so they are going to do what they want to do, and usually there has to be some benefit to them, and it was a problem of being able to incentivize them to actually take that. You'd be surprised. I think that well, if that's the case, then why is 22 a day an actual thing? Do you see what I'm saying?
No, because I think both of you are missing it.
Okay. Input, go for it.
Your 22 a day thing or whatever, that has nothing to do with the acts which they had to perform.
It's more about the aftermath of
Yeah.
what
No. It's because then when you see that you were lied to for the things that you went and did, then you can't rationalize, and you want to then make the people pay for that lied to you, but those people will never pay. And that's the conundrum that they have a problem with.
Not all, I mean, yes and no. Okay, like I had a friend who was a medic for the Marines in what's the big Middle Eastern town that fell just a couple years ago? I don't think it was
Kabul.
Kabul. Okay. He had been medic there. He got close with the population because they did deal with the civilians who lived there and helped them just as much as they were helping soldiers. And when that city fell, when they allowed didn't prevent the terrorists from taking it back, my friend, unfortunately, like he lost it. He's no longer with us. Okay. So yes, there is that aspect of being lied to, but I think there's also this unfortunate deep-seated, it's hard to have that much compassion and to see it be lost like that. So I think it's a bit of everything. Hang on, sorry. Go ahead and talk if you got something to say.
The men in black are there.
Fuck. My kid went out fishing with all of his friends, or was supposed to, and oh, no, maybe this is my damn package. That would be nice. My washing machine broke.
Yes.
And it held our clothes hostage for 3 days.
Shitty.
No, Arctic. My friends went to war. I did not. I have many friends who are soldiers, were soldiers, now medically retired, or just, their time was done and they're out of the military.
I've interviewed a few military people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Marathon Kev, I interviewed him on his own show months ago about it. Blind Justice, that's somewhere in the archives. I might look for that someday. I don't know if I'll ever find that. So, like, I've talked to a lot of veterans in my life, and I've actually had very contentious arguments and discussions just out in public with CAF, Canadian Air Force, and things like that. I lived beside a military base for a large majority of my childhood, and so though I've never been in war, I know a lot of people who have, and
Yeah,
that's always been the answer. anytime.
Oh, they'll all say they lied to you, right? But then that was part of why they wanted to go more toward, they wanted to try to see if they could control these these youth, these teenagers, and train them up to use them as soldiers, is because later on they don't really care that much about any of it. It doesn't impact them the way that it impacts the average person. Um, they're not going to feel bad about what the order, following through with orders that they're given, or, even just incidental things that happen, because we all know bad things happen in war. There's nothing, you know, that just is what it is. Oh, look at that. Hi,
Hi,
Josh.
Josh. What's up, girl? How you doing?
Got a hell of an
I do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on one second. Let me leave and come back.
Sounds good.
First one, yes. Second one, no.
Yeah, we're
I'm
working
just
on it.
throwing jabs. I'm just throwing jabs at Josh. Though I did give him props on a panel earlier today where I said that ever since his resurrection, he has improved slightly.
Josh has been cool with me. I
No, he's less abrasive than he was 10 months ago when I first met him.
Sometimes he's
No, he's willing to. No. He used to always resort to like really drastic nonsense that was just.
okay.
I mean, we can all just threaten to throw each other in volcanoes. I mean, if you think that's entertaining, we can do that.
Go ahead, Josh. Let's see if he fixed it.
Is that different? Is that better?
Yes, it's perfect.
Okay.
Awesome. How the hell you doing?
Doing good. Been tired.
We were gonna I told him I wanted to review him taking on Rob Noor over at Verbal Combat, and then we got into this very morbid discussion about Abe, feel free to come on up. Would love to have you. What we had been discussing, I'm not sure if you caught it, Abe, and I'm not sure if you did either, Josh, because we were talking about psychopathy, antisocial personality disorder, those things, and I brought up experiments that were being done in juvenile facilities during the 90s in an attempt to create essentially super soldiers who were able to not, to feel less. The hope was to negate a lot of the PTSD issues, as well as, all of it across the board, because yes, I absolutely agree that soldiers who are going off to war are told they're working towards one goal when that may not necessarily be what the goal was, right? And yeah, so we got into a morbid discussion here, and it just kind of went off that way.
I think it's generally a bad idea to try to teach people, whether they're soldiers or not, to turn off their humanity.
Well, sure. And so that's why that's why during the 90s, at least, the goal was to use people whose humanity was already diminished in some capacity. But the problem is that they're essentially, they prove to be uncontrollable. They're always going to do what's in their own best interest, which can often include not following the orders you give them, or going too hard and wiping out a whole village, like we saw a few times in, Korea and Vietnam.
That's usually the case. Everybody wants a monster, but everybody also wants to be able to control the strings on that monster. Never happens.
No, it does not.
I think that people have very little right sorry, I had to clear my throat. Very little right to critique people that are put into situations outside of their own control.
I don't know about the concept of the right, but anything's up for critiquing.
Nope. I think you should be critiquing the people that sent them there, not the people that went there.
Could absolutely critique anything from top to bottom. It's the whole concept of opinions.
Right. So, like, for instance, police or soldiers, same thing. Is, as far as I'm concerned, the soldier or the cop shouldn't get in any trouble at all unless his commanding officer gets in trouble too.
What, we talking about critiquing or like punishment for something?
Punishment. I'm saying that cop that told his deputies to go out there and illegally pull people over to get a quota of DUIs, that you very rarely see the people that up the chain, right? So if the commander did that, then his direct superiors should also be held accountable, right? Otherwise, they're obviously not maintaining any type of command structure. Well, you just say, "Oh, well, I just trust the people under my command to do whatever." You don't check up on what they're doing. When anomalies show up, you just turn a blind eye. Like, it just don't make no sense, right? Like, everybody up the chain is responsible.
How would you go about proving something like that? I mean, we all know it exists.
Because
it's not going to be
incompetence is as bad as malice.
So it's usually the case that most of that shit's political in one way or another. Let's just say home burglaries are up for whatever year or for whatever reason that year, right? Some mayor or some city councilman goes to the police chief or county sheriff, whoever, says, y'all got to do something about this. This is a problem. So they'll either change patrols, do whatever, this or that. And that goes right down the chain of command. But the question would be, how do you prove something like that? Most directives are given verbally.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, you might catch something in an email, memo or something, but it's kind of rare.
No, I'm saying, okay, so let's say there's a police chief and he's sitting down at headquarters, and 15 of your cops do a wrong address raid on someone's house.
Oops.
You should be fired.
15 in one event or 15 different events?
No, just the one. I'm saying they do a wrong house raid, right? Directly right from their direct superior, right to the chief, should all be fired and replaced because they obviously are not doing things correctly.
We talking small town USA, or are we talking city population 1 million plus?
Every single one of them.
Oh, no, this is a problem. So most ordinances require you to have like
no, not listening to all that. See, this is
you don't
no, because I look at things like The Walking Dead, right? I'm not following your dumb rules if you're not going to follow your own dumb rules.
Yeah. So if a town,
that's why society is now broken down, is because we see through the veil, right? We see that there's rules for me, but not for thee, and nobody's going to have it anymore. No more.
Oh, so who enforces rules on the king? Just out of curiosity, how does that work?
There is no king.
Oh, okay. Well, there's definitely an authority, always.
That's right.
That would be the king.
It's either
kind
a
of like
government
a metaphor.
by whatever the chant is, right? And of and for the people, right?
Yeah, it's
either that or people will decide to just burn it all down. It's either that or it's burn it all down. Those are the two choices.
Very few times in history do they just burn it all down.
Every time in history, that's what happens.
Oh, yeah. When they decided to like overthrow a government, yeah, that might happen.
Or a coup or whatever, yeah.
USA ain't seen one. About the closest we've got.
BLM riots.
Even Rodney King, when they burned LA down, right?
Yep.
They only burned them. They burned their own houses down. Well, not their own houses.
Okay, but that just sounds like you're challenging people to do worse.
Well, yeah, people are going to do worse over time. That's just
right. But
Yeah,
you've
that's
gone
going to
full
happen
circle. The reason
regardless.
is because rules for thee, rules for me, and not for thee
Yeah,
does
Keep
not
talking.
work
I'll be right
long term. Does
I
not
just gotta
work
grab
long
my
term.
package.
sounds too much like children complaining about their parents.
But you're not my parent, and neither
Well,
is the government. You see,
all,
that's the problem.
all authority, at least I don't
No,
know about
no,
Canada,
no,
but
no.
the United
You
States,
only
all
have
authority is
authority
your
if
daddy.
I've broken the law. Otherwise, you are just
Sure.
a Yahtzee.
So here's the example on the concept of like kicking in the wrong door. You'd be surprised how many people don't actually just comply with their own town ordinances of putting a fucking address number up. Most people don't do
No,
it.
no. That's not the reason. Because they use. I'm citing a specific example, which is because they used Apple Maps. If they had to use Google Maps, it would have took them to the right place. But Apple Maps had some type of flaw, and they went to the wrong address.
Yeah.
Right.
So what? They use
That's
third-party software.
incompetence.
Yeah.
So is that the software that they're authorized to use by the police department?
In this case, the answer would be probably yes. If that was
No, probably there's no
sent them
authorization
to
at all. They're probably supposed to use a map like a normal human being.
No, most of the CAD system is usually tells you almost
And
everything.
if there's an
you need to
address
know.
on there, I've seen in the last 24 months at least 2 or 3 where the number was right there, and then they realize it
Sure.
well too late.
There's
They don't even look at the number while they just run into someone's house and break down the door.
There's always exceptions, but we never make rules for exceptions. That's a waste of time.
That's the whole point of what rules are for.
Yeah. We did that with DEI. There's no more exceptions anymore. We don't care about them.
Okay, buddy.
If you're a minority group, just late. It's basically get down or lay down. I actually like OG's fucking claim for that one.
I just watched one of Here's the Deal's new videos where the cop got aggressive with a guy in the police station who was there, and the cop tried to put hands on him.
Kind of
and the guy put the cop on the ground and very easily manhandled this cop. And then his buddies came and they made a lot of threats and then tried to de-escalate. And you're going to see here probably in the next 10 years, because it'll take a long time, as it usually does, if he doesn't settle. And he will end up losing money and maybe get a little bit of a settlement. But
I love it.
But the truth is,
towns go for opposite shit like that. I love that shit.
But the truth is as soon as that cop put his hands on him without saying, "You are under arrest," he broke the law. And the fact that the police came out and arrested a person that they had no idea whether or not that person had broken the law and was just in a scuffle with a cop, and then came out and acted like the cop was being assaulted. But you could see on the video that the cop put his hands on Buddy.
Mm-hmm. This is why this is the wrong venue to argue with a cop. It's pretty much.
No, it's not. No, it's the wrong venue to argue with a citizen, because what's going to start happening is just like that young black man, right? Yeah. And the cop said, "You're crazy," and the guy said, "Come on out here and say that." Yeah, and then the cop came out and he said, "Say it again."
So that
call me, I'm crazy, and then he beat that man down 3 times. And you're going to see more and more. You cannot use your populace as a whipping post and expect them to continue to take it.
Yeah, you absolutely can.
Sure you can. And then what happens?
For hundreds of years.
It takes 3 human beings to completely disrupt everything.
Yeah, so
3.
We live in disruption, so
no, you don't get it. You'll get it. You'll get it soon. You'll see.
Just because it happens, and like Josh, you don't think that situations like that change what's going on within the society?
Sure, things change regardless of what you do.
No, because what's going to happen when every single person that was there just goes,
yeah.
I have no idea what was what happened. I didn't see anything, because that's what's going to start. You obviously know nothing about history.
Absolutely. Right? Well, I know about our history.
How did the French Resistance fair in
Yeah, we're not French.
France.
We're not French. We don't behave like the French.
I do,
Our
and a
mentality
lot of
are not
people
like
do.
French.
We
Not
are
in the
also
US.
Canadian,
There
so
wouldn't
I
be
would
enough of us.
I'm Acadian French.
Yeah. But the Canadians, right? The
No,
Canadians
I
are
would
the
expect
Acadian. Acadian, not Canadian.
Oh, okay.
I
Well,
said
whatever it is,
Canadian.
it ain't
I
us.
know.
So what would we care about what outsiders want for the USA specifically?
You know nothing.
But yeah. Oh, the outside country is fucking critiquing us.
We
We
were
still
just
don't
looking
care.
at it on
I know, because you absolutely dislike
Hippie's channel
authority.
earlier.
I got your drift.
You don't get it. So earlier on Hippie's channel, Denizen was over there and we were
I don't know
talking.
who Hippie is.
That don't matter. And so I brought up, we were talking about different laws and how things that happen in Canada directly affect American laws and vice versa. And that's just how it works.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes, isn't that interesting that I think it was to the day, might not be to the day, but I think he said to the day, because he looked it up, that both the American and the Canadian Supreme Court declared that the Prime Minister and President are kings. I said, isn't that a coinkydink?
Declared that they're kings? Okay.
Yeah, that
Well,
they're
they're
above,
bosses.
they're above reproach. That their immunity is so drastic that they are literally unaccountable.
Yeah, I don't know how your prime minister works, but the
same as Trump.
Oh, well, in that case, then he has diplomatic immunity. Not qualified immunity, diplomatic
100% immunity, yes.
Well, I don't know about the 100%, right?
Yes, there's nothing that he can be actually prosecuted for. All they can do is impeach him and remove him from office. He can never be prosecuted for any action while in office.
Yeah, and well, that's not technically true.
I'm telling you, it's true.
Hmm? We came close to one really good example. He just resigned beforehand. That's because there's a very specific order in a way a thing has to be done.
But he would never been criminally charged. That's the difference.
Nixon wouldn't have been criminally charged. I bet you $20 he would have.
Nope.
That's probably why he resigned.
Nope.
Because you have to be removed from the chair first.
No, because they come in and they go, yeah, terrible thing if something happened to you. And then you do it. That's how that goes.
Oh, so threatening from different people, right? Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Other political leaders. Yeah, understood. That's what we call the good old boy society. But so
that's what society is. Yeah.
Well, no, not society. People are underlings. They don't count for much.
That's what all of society is.
Oh, I got it. So the people
power struggle.
The people are the equal to the authority. Got it. Understood it.
They're supposed to be.
So now we're back to the supposed to. Now we're back in fantasy land.
Nope.
Well, I know, like I get the premise is we don't like authority. They don't behave the way we want to. It's the children basically.
No, we just expect them to be held to the higher standard that they profess to be held to.
They set the standard. They can set the standard to whatever they want. They are the authority.
Okay.
But so you don't see a problem with? How do you not see a problem with that?
What does it matter if there's a problem? It adapts. It changes constantly.
Yeah, the great adapter. Fire.
I don't know.
It is what it is.
I think that those that are imposing laws should be held just to the same exact fucking standard as the rest of us peons.
Our legislative body, this is both the House and the Senate, they're under diplomatic immunity from, it's kind of a fucking weird thing, right? The moment they leave their door to begin to travel to work, doesn't matter what state they're coming from, they're immune to all legal systems. So basically they have immunity until they return back.
You all keep talking. There's a clip I want to, or there's a body cam I want to pull up here. Go ahead, keep talking. It's absolutely, I mean, like, how are they excused? Like, let's say a prosecutor. Is a prosecutor held to the same standard as you and I?
Well, a prosecutor is not exempt from prosecution.
So only government officials.
Well, so certain government officials. So like your legislative body, pretty much all your House senators, or House and Senate, Most all of those are under immunity from the moment that they step foot out. So they're not immune while they're in their own home, or basically when they're off the clock. But there is no such thing as like a stamped time clock, right? The moment that they exit their door to begin to travel to work, they're immune till the time that they come back. That means the travel time in between also. So if they get in an airplane, decide, oh, I'm gonna blow shit up, right? Can't much you can do about them. At least if they're going to and from work. So let's just say they're flying from New York to DC. Do whatever the hell they want. People are like, oh, you shouldn't have to it. But again, why? Because people want everybody, they want the government to be as low as them. They either want to elevate themselves by dragging the government down, or they want to lower the government by elevating themselves. It's a division. It's another group dynamic where people are wanting to be like equal. It doesn't exist.
Why should they be exempt from the same laws that you and I have to follow out on the street?
I have no idea. I don't even know how the hell that came about long before we were around. Never really thought about it. Imagine your life sitting around thinking about how unfair life is because I guess, what is it, like 400 and something odd? See, then there's house. Let's just say like less than 1,000 people have immunity while they're going to and from work. And all they do is go up there and basically bitch, cry, complain, scream, write, sign their names.
Yeah.
So
this is the thing is, and I've tried, since this has been brought up, I've brought it up on numerous different occasions, and people have kind of just been like, yeah, whatever. So I don't know. All I can do is tell you what's written down and what people say about what's written down. Now, I can't run down to America and run into the archives and go and find this information, but I did put a link in the backstage.
Yeah.
You can watch your body camera video. Do whatever you, it's your show, right?
Yeah.
But you know, that disconnect, right, that you have in your brain where you're saying, but don't you understand, Josh, that doesn't seem right? And he goes, well, I don't care about what you say, right? And so I tried to explain this a few times to a few different people, is that there's always been that disconnect that I see in that mesmerized tone that people come up with when some people just don't get it. And the video that I'm going to show you now is why you get that feeling as to why some people just don't get it. And that's because no rational, logical human being would ever respond with the responses that Josh is responding to, because he's responding to the madness which is in that video.
Is there a specific spot in this video? Because it's like
pretty. I know. Well, yeah. Give me a second here. I'll find it. Just give me a second. I'll see where he pulls it up. 1 second.
It is broken. I think it might be in the second segment. The good thing is it's broken down into segments, and I was just kind of looking at the segment titles. But if you tell me what part of it.
Yeah, it's the one that says missing notwithstanding.
Missing,
right? It's the like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth one. Okay. Yeah, there. You want to watch that.
Okay. I'm getting it pulled up here. Let me share my screen.
Because I'm the guy that will go and read the legislation and stuff. Like, I watch the really boring nerd stuff. Like, I listen to Supreme Court arguments. I know about what's going on. And so I don't know about this. I have heard about this a little bit, like rumors, but this is an actual real legal scholar explaining that, oh, by the way, they just left parts out of the law when they copied it down. And for 150 years, the courts have been ruling incorrectly because they were coming off of an incorrectly copied law. Watch.
All right, here we go.
Bigger. The statute the Supreme Court was reading, it was wrong.
Wait,
when Congress passed the Civil Rights Act in 1871, rights after the Civil War during Reconstruction, the law included something called a notwithstanding clause. Let me show you how it was discovered.
I was working on this article about qualified immunity, and I just came across the language, the original language of the statute from 1871. And I've both been a scholar but also a litigator for a long time. I continue to litigate civil rights cases. And so I was reading this version of Section 1983, and I said, I don't recognize, there's this language here that I've never seen before, and it was this notwithstanding language, right? What Section 1983 says is that people who act under color of law shall be liable for violations of the Constitution, and it says shall be liable in damages or in equity. And the original version from 1871 says shall, notwithstanding any such statute, law, ordinance, regulation, custom, or usage of the state to the contrary notwithstanding, be liable. So there's this insertion of what I'm calling, and I've called the notwithstanding clause, right? That you shall be liable notwithstanding state law to the contrary. And given that the Supreme Court had originally located qualified immunity in state law doctrine, state common law doctrine regarding good faith, I thought, well, how has no one looked at this and thought it's significant here?
Notwithstanding any state law to the contrary. In legal language, notwithstanding is the strongest override you can use. It means I don't care what else exists. This takes priority. Congress explicitly said state law defenses don't apply, including common law immunity defenses. So how did this sentence disappear?
After this 1871 Civil Rights Act was enacted, Congress decided for the first time it was going to put together all of the federal laws in one place. Like up until the 1870s, if you wanted to find a federal law, you had to go to the specific Congress, the specific records of the Congress that enacted it. Today, we just go to the code book, right? We go to 42 USD and we find the law. Well, that compilation of federal law didn't exist until the 1870s. So Congress, after it enacted these acts connected to Reconstruction, in general said, we want one place where everyone can find federal law. And they asked someone, they called them the reviser. They asked the reviser to go through and put all the federal laws that had ever been enacted into one. And the reviser, when he took the version of the law that had been enacted in 1871 and put it into the compilation, just omitted the notwithstanding clause. And we don't know why. He might have omitted it because he thought, well, you know, the statute speaks for itself and maybe we don't need the notwithstanding clause. If that's the reason he did it, it's still consistent with the argument I'm making about the force it should have. But in any event, that's how we lost that clause. And that's why today, when anyone goes to the actual, to the statute that everyone uses in the code books, it does not have the notwithstanding clause. It just got omitted by the reviser. Who knows why? But one thing's clear. The reviser was never given the power to make substantive changes to the law.
A clerk compiling laws just...
So, Josh, got any feedback on that so far?
Yeah, Pearson versus Ray is what established qualified immunity, or at least the first one. Supreme Court itself.
No, that was all covered at the first part. I'm just showing you. You can watch the whole thing if you want.
So that's the whole point of it, right? You can write.
No, it was based on this. You don't understand what you're talking about. This is what I hate about talking to people like you.
You're talking about. That's what the fucking Supreme Court does, is it interprets law, and it interpreted in a way in 1967
I don't
that
even think you're caught up.
let it go what it wants to. That is how that fucking
This is why you can't clip parts of videos of Beth. I'm not critiquing you.
I got you. No, I get what you're saying.
He
Well, hang on.
You have to get the Supreme Court to reverse itself. Ain't gonna happen. Or you could introduce a bill, which I think apparently this year they tried to. Qualified immunity bill.
Beth, I just want to show you something. So let's just say that everything, because this is James Freeman's lawyer, right? I don't know if you know who that is, but
I know.
So let's say this is a troll, right?
Okay.
But it's a very good troll if it's a troll, because of one simple reason. A person like Josh will explain to you it doesn't matter what is written down in that law. It doesn't matter.
Here's where the problem comes in, is that if there is something passed by the Supreme Court post all of this that says, let's say that they pass something that literally says the notwithstanding clause is pointless. It doesn't matter if they would have to address it specifically, but if they address it specifically and say we're setting it
Numerous
aside
judges have. It's
and we're not
it's all in this
considering
video.
Not the Supreme
So
Court. Not the Supreme Court.
as long as it's done afterwards, then yes, they would have to reverse their decision made afterwards because it's a revision made to the original, right?
Bingo.
No,
And that's
usually
What
the
is
way that
What's
it's
the
usually
case that you cited, Josh?
Pearson versus Ray. Forgive me on the spelling for the first one. That was 1967. There'd be a few more after that, but that's apparently the one that started the shit off. And that would be through the Supreme Court. So when they made that ruling, effectively created the idea of qualified immunity in that form, where there are limitations to how it's applied, but that was their opinion. That opinion is effectively what everybody's upset with. Keep in mind, it's been
So-
propped up with a couple other
how many
cases.
Well-
qualified immunity Supreme Court cases in the last
Hang on.
5-6 years
Probably
have
none,
you
Ron.
watched, argued about
Yeah.
qualified immunity? How many?
Probably none in the last 5-6 years have been relevant.
Okay, I've watched dozens.
Yeah. You've argued what in the Supreme Court?
No, I have watched the
In the Supreme
arguments
Court?
in the Supreme Court. Yes,
Got it. What happened? Why'd they all get kicked back down?
that's very complicated in a lot of different facets.
Oh.
We'd have to go through them one by one, and I'm not going to do that.
So the Supreme
So,
Court ruled
hang
in
on.
favor of itself. Oh,
But
big
what I'm
surprise
explaining
there.
to you is they are making. I'm sorry. You go ahead, Beth. There's no point in talking to this guy.
You're right. The
I
Supreme
just
Court.
want to hang on, Josh. Hang on. I want to specify the significance of that case. From what I'm reading, it says it qualified immunity as a defense for government officials. Initially it required officers to show good faith and probable cause. However, subsequent cases like Harlow v. Fitzgerald of 1982 expanded the doctrine by introducing the clearly established law standard, making it more difficult to sue government officials.
Yeah, they
Now-
added that. They added that extra word, reasonable, which is still incredibly subjective.
They changed even that to clearly established.
Yeah, they say the word clearly. Is the word reasonable? Is that clear?
Reasonable would be less than clear. Clear
Yeah,
is a higher
That
standard.
was their clarification. Like it's like
Anyway, I can't listen to this guy. The whole point of what I was trying to point out here is that if that is true, then
be a little bit more specific. If what is true?
if what that video is saying is true, then what I've said the whole time is
Yeah.
law.
Well, the problem-
The law doesn't matter.
He argued interpretation. Thank you.
And
No.
honestly, it doesn't matter. What was written originally would no longer matter as long as the Supreme Court passed something that renders it obsolete to begin with. If they don't address it head on, though, then it would still stand, even if it's in the background and being overlooked, right?
Correct.
Now
And-
this though, but wait though, because this has to do with, from the looks of it, suing police officers for
Yes.
their conduct. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, but what we're talking about kind of goes beyond that. We're talking about lawmakers and government officials who ignore the laws that you and I have to follow every day in our regular lives. They're allowed to speed, they're allowed to run red lights, they're allowed
Yep.
to use hate speech,
Yep.
and all under the claims of qualified immunity. I don't see how or why that can happen. I mean, there's no clear reason that they should be able to.
Okay. Crazy. Why would that be important? Let's hypothetically say cop gets out. Okay, for you, Beth. Let's
Okay.
hypothetically say cop gets out of his car, right? Just walks up to you. No rhyme or reason, just pulls out his nightstick and just starts wailing on you. and then start basically calling you a B word while he's doing it. Pretty much clear, like, what they'd consider hate speech. Really what it is a stackable thing, right?
Sure.
Now, why would the system or society give a damn whether you're getting your ass beat and they actually called you a B while he's going about doing it? Why would you want to regulate somebody's humanity?
It's not a matter. It's more of a matter. How do I put this? And like I've always said, look, when it comes down to political shit, I'm kind of retarded. So when I'm asking questions, it's literally probably coming from like the place of a child. I don't give a shit. Um, there's there's no purpose that's being served by a government official breaking laws that you and I have to follow. So therefore, why should they have immunity?
Because they can. Simple answer. Because they
It's
can.
just because they can.
Yeah, I speed down the road with my lights on, by the way, for no other reason other than I can. Maybe I want to go to the grocery store 5 minutes earlier.
Now the question is who's going to stop me? I'm flying through the state of New York, right? Who's going to stop me?
Yeah, and that does become the problem.
Yeah,
because
state officer, he pulls me over, gets behind me. What's he going to do? Write me a ticket?
So what he's saying is Kaczynski was correct.
Yes, this is what you guys don't. I guess I know you don't like it that people of authority get to do almost anything they want. I say almost, right? Like I can't. I hate my post office right now. I can't go in there and just start whooping people as much as I like to. There are some limitations.
You
right?
use absurd contractions to try to prove that absurdity is the norm, but it's
absurdity
not.
is the norm and has
No,
been so
incorrect.
for 300 years. If you're
You're
at least
incorrect.
in our history.
No, it's just the anomalies are viewed more. That's all.
Yeah, if you're of authority, you get privilege.
Normalness.
Just like everybody in every group gets some type of privilege. They also get like something that counts against them too. They get a disadvantage to go with it too. Welcome to it. So,
well, you're literally what you just said didn't have any meaning.
To being a cop, well, to be in law enforcement, especially if you're talking about the federal, you do not get involved with political. That's pretty much career suicide right there.
No, what I'm saying is, why is it that any government official should be entitled to this kind of immunity from very basic laws that everybody should be now really, listen, wait, time out. Hang on, let me finish. Okay. I would be willing to set aside things that can be clearly tied to, something that is going on for the benefit of our country, right? But an act that is in some way in preservation of our system, of our rights, of our whatever.
So,
but just to blatantly use qualified immunity,
all I have to do is give you one benefit, and you'll let it go.
Not necessarily. I mean,
oh, okay. So that doesn't really matter.
It depends on what kind of benefit is being claimed.
If the benefit's good enough by subjective measure. Got it.
Well, that's what the Supreme Court even says. It says that it must clearly be established. Let me bring it back up so I can look at it.
No.
Yeah, we should just get off of this because, like, the whole video explains it. We're literally wasting time.
Here's what I'll do. I'm going to drop the link for that video in the chat. Anybody who's interested in learning about qualified immunity and the history of it and what it's being used for and all of that, please feel free to check out this video. I just dropped it in the chat for you. So back to psychopaths and how we could all possibly have a little Ed Gein in us.
Wrong with psychopaths. I mean, I know you're not supposed to use that term specifically, but as a general concept, what's wrong with them? These bastards are running like fucking huge ass businesses. They're being highly okay, so they're assholes, but they're highly productive.
I agree with that. I don't think that I think that it should be, I don't think it should be as stigmatized as what it is. Oh, gee, we're talking a little bit of everything. We just kind of ended up over here because Josh and 10th Man were arguing about stuff.
He,
Um,
wa- he wants he wants authority to have a check and balance, which I guess technically it does. I don't. Technically speaking, we're not immune, right?
yeah, well, then
We just
again,
get
though, but
privileged.
I mean, so that would go to almost like the argument that, now hang on. Let's say we are in an authoritative situation where, sorry, 10th Man, I know we were going to get off it, but now I have a question. Um, let's say we have an authoritative type government, right? Where
Thought we
fascist
did.
is in control.
We
Why
don't.
would
We don't
so
have an authoritative government.
yeah, hey, I know. Um, honestly, yeah. But I still don't see. Yeah, we're gonna end up right back into this whole conversation if I keep going with my line of
You
questioning.
go where
I'm
you want. I'm not. I don't care about this.
Yeah, the
I'm
government.
not being a dick. It's just I've spent the majority of my life looking into this stuff and learning about things. And then when people just go, well, that's just too bad. I
Unfortunate.
go, I
The
go,
point that I
okay. So then when I celebrate the 9/11 celebration spectacular, people don't get mad.
Well, I don't
uh,
get mad at 9/11. Hell, that gave us like a shit ton of authority throughout the rest of the world.
Right.
Ooh,
That's why I
okay.
We
celebrate it. It
expanded
was
it.
it was a wonderful milestone in America's history.
Says the Canadian. Oh man, New York's right over the
Yeah,
border.
but it affected me too, right?
Yes, yes, it did. It affected the whole
Right.
world. Are you kidding? Um,
But I should have no say on what America does. See, that's what I mean, Josh. You're
You
so
don't. You don't get a
close-minded.
say. Or if you want to have a
It's
say in how the
literally
government's run
no.
here,
You're
you're gonna have
exactly
to
like
come here and
my
vote. To vote, you're gonna have to
imbecile
get
uncle
citizenship.
when I was a child. You just say
so
words.
speaking of saying words, Josh, did you see 10th Man and Rob Noor debate?
I did not know.
Well, how about we move ourselves over to that? Because at least that has a bit of comedic value to it. Um, it
What are you
actually.
talking about? You realize I'm gonna hope that Rob fucking won the debate if it was one, right?
Well, he did. He did. I mean, it was on verbal combat. So
Oh, it was on verbal combat. When was this?
this was several weeks ago. This was
Oh,
actually yeah, pretty funny. Let me make sure my volume's on for it.
I wasn't even there. It was AI. None of anything that happened after that wasn't my fault. That was a 10th Man AI on Speakeasies.
I forgot to hit play. All right, or will they share my screen? There
Chat,
we go.
reminder to you all, this goes to 5 minutes to start. If you guys want to add on a minute, it is $10 to add a minute. It is $60 to solo judge. And if we don't get a solo judge,
I want to point out, 5 minutes to start, $10 a minute thereafter. Yo, Speakeasy made a bundle off of this one.
Oh yeah, $400 or
You-
$500 in 40 minutes. But
Yeah.
don't forget, Rob was not on the show. I was over there just hanging out. We were just hanging out, right? And then Rob shut his show down, raided Speakeasy. Some of his people came into the chat, paid for a 1v1 for me, and then they kept it going at $10 a minute for 40 minutes for 35 minutes after the first
Yeah,
5
they
minutes.
did. Yeah, they did. So, Josh, enjoy. Everybody in the chat, enjoy.
judge, it goes to the chat poll, and the loser of the poll will lose their soul. Fighters, good luck to both of you. Let's get
All right, you're affirmative. You're the yes side. So go ahead, state your case.
It's just going to be easier for the person. Like I said, as a black lady, I want my daughter to marry as dark a skinned man as possible so that the babies are as dark as possible.
Okay.
That way
How
they're
about
less
this?
discriminated against for being light skinned. Yes.
Okay, so define race.
Their ethnicity.
Okay, so for example, if someone is Irish, is that a different race than Italian?
Yes, they're going to have different size
Okay,
noses.
so
yes.
therefore, even though to
So,
the
you know,
discerning eye, let me finish. So
You
even though
also
to
don't want
like
it to be an ugly
undiscerning
man, right?
So
See,
even,
that's
even
exactly
though
within my
even
race.
though to
It really
even though
latches.
to an undiscerning eye, it may seem that
Oh, she
both are
walked
quote
away.
white.
No, what was that?
See, my yes to him right there was just literally, I wasn't even listening to him. And then he latches onto that later and he's like, you concede. So you're a liar because you said that Irish and Italian are the same race.
Yeah.
And I clarify numerous times that it's different and ethnicities and blah. Like I try, and he can't stay on task. He goes time travel to 1400 years ago, all kinds of weird shit. Talks about jacking off dudes.
This is actually really interesting. At the Mutter Museum in Philadelphia, I've actually been there. It's really cool. I highly recommend it as long as you got a strong stomach. The first room that you walk into is wall to wall, floor to ceiling skulls all the way around the room, and they're all from different countries and regions. And it shows you how you can tell the differences, not only
Yes.
in where they're from based on the bone structure, but even on if this person was a man or a woman based on the bone structure of the skull. But so in all actuality, even though like color wise, someone from Ireland and someone from England may be the same color, bone structure wise, they're completely different.
I understand that, but my argument is that if you are from Germany and you marry a German woman and your kid has black hair, you could still get away with being German or Irish. Do you understand what I'm saying here?
Yes,
But
yes.
when you're an Asian person and you
Those
mix with a
differences
black
are fine.
person, then you can tell usually that they are not black or Asian, and you can usually tell that they're Asian and black mixed, usually, right? And all
Right.
I'm talking about outward appearance, and then he tries to make it about culture, but that's not the discussion. Like he goes all over the place because he can't argue. It just doesn't make any sense.
No, that was the definition you put. When he asked you what race was, you just said ethnicity, in which case they become, by your definition, they become interchangeable.
No, because I said that no. I clarify it later.
3 seconds ago?
No, I understand. I clarify what I was saying. I'm not
later on.
listening
Okay,
to.
got
I'm
it.
not listening to what this guy's saying.
Right,
At
so you're just
all.
listening to answer. Gotcha.
No, because he came here to attack me. So I'm trying to feel out the conversation to see what's happening here.
So you're not interested in the
No, I'm
debate,
I'm
you're
interested
just
to
trying to
see
feel
where
him
this
up.
is going.
What the hell do you get up and there's no hit? Okay.
Are we good? We good with press and play?
Yeah.
You would still differentiate
For the same
between,
reason
like-
as you don't want your daughter to marry an ugly man. You don't want ugly grandkids,
Okay,
right?
so
Same thing.
what's my race?
Fat-headed.
Fat-headed. You can tell my race. I know it's difficult for you.
I think you got a little bit of Lebanese in you, if I was to guess.
You think I'm Lebanese? That would be incorrect. I'm not Lebanese. So the question would then
All right.
become, like,
Maybe some
given that I
Italian.
would just be identified as white, but you would say that wouldn't be my race, right? Should someone who has a daughter that's 80% Italian marry me?
Just as long as they're not as fat as you.
Okay, so I think that this is an admission by you. By the way,
No.
interesting. I like the people that make. I don't mind being called fat. I am totally true.
No, but it's
Can
true.
you go ahead and can you show your face real quick on
Because-
cam?
Yes.
Go ahead. Let's see it.
Hold
So
on.
let's see
Sure.
what a healthy man looks like here on cam. Nonetheless,
Yes.
the point I'm trying to make here is no, when you have the affirmative,
That's the
I
wrong
don't
way.
think when you have the affirmative here that parents should discourage marrying within a race. Oh, not fat, just ugly. And a nerd to boot.
Sure. Probably double your age too.
You have
And a
the
nerd.
look you
No,
have
there's a
the-
difference between a geek and a nerd.
Oh yes.
I'm also
Either
a
way,
black lady.
you have the look of a man who's gone down on many other men. So congratulations on
Yes,
that. I'll take being fat
that is
over
correct.
that any day.
See, I
You
would
look like
do
a
the same
reject.
reason that I
You
would
look like
want
a
my black
reject from Weezer
grandkids
meets
to be
Antifa.
darker is the same reason I would tell
Would your parents?
my
The question
kids
I have,
not to be
since you didn't
gay.
want to, it's fine. Since you didn't want to take
You
it
understand?
seriously, that's fine. We
No,
can
it's
do
for the
this.
same.
Your
No, I'm
parents
being completely
did
serious.
your
For the same reason I
grandparents-
wouldn't want my kids
your
to be gay,
grandparents- your
because I don't
grandparents-
want them to
your
be discriminated
grandparents
against. Do you
should have
understand?
convinced your grandparents
Do you
should have
understand that?
convinced your mother, who looked like some Buddy Holly
For the
reject,
same
not to marry your
reason that I
father that
wouldn't
looked like a
want my
nerdy
kids
fucking
to be
Antifa
gay,
reject. That's probably why they shouldn't
they'll
have
be
done.
discriminated against. Do you
They
understand
should have
that?
They should have been less concerned over racial discrimination
So,
and more concerned over
the
the
same
genetic
reason
inferiority
as
that no doubt
You
came
wouldn't
through.
want
That's what
an
they should have been
Asian
concerned with.
person
The racial aspect of it was irrelevant, right? Are you ready to take the debate
to
seriously?
marry outside their
that it?
race, right? In certain cultures, because it's not acceptable, right?
No, that's untrue, right?
Not
What you're
acceptable
saying
to
is
that
the
culture.
question is
So
the
it's going to
question
be
is universal.
easier for the
The
children.
question is universal. The
Do you
question is
care about what's
universal.
good for
The
you or what's
question
good
is
for the
you're
children?
incapable now that you
Real quick, we have a new guest. Hello, OG, my dear friend. It's good to see you.
Y'all are talking my subject now.
God, we got two extremists up on the fucking panel. This'll be fun.
I love it. I was kind of hoping, like when we were talking about the immunity thing, because that was kind of my question. Was
I'll
like,
stay if you promise not to take this down.
I just got through streaming myself.
Everybody's gonna be nice. This is a neutral place. Yeah, I want to talk about the topics at hand. We all good.
I'm just here for the question and to clarify on the race, because on Dusty's 10 said he was using my argument. He's using a modified form of my argument.
Oh, of course.
And in fact, you can see I actually got in the same argument with a black nationalist on hood conservatives, and I had to explain to the gentleman, you are what your father is. And he's like, well, the black Germans, well, there's no such thing as black Germans. If there's black immigrants that move to Germany and have children, those are not Germans. But if a German man has sex and has a child with those immigrants, they are German, and over the next generations, they become even more German. With about 3 or 4 generations, genetically speaking, they are in fact German.
Genetically speaking, though, and this is why I brought up like the mutter, where you can actually see the bone structure, the regional framing of people, right, on a biological level, is a real thing. And when you are mixing races from different places like that, it takes several generations to overcome that those biological factors.
Well, you have the biological factor is you have people who have immigrated throughout human history from one place to another halfway across the planet, and they've integrated and assimilated over generations. This is the one thing that when I talk with white nationalists and other people about genetics, that they don't tend to understand, and they bitch and complain. I'm like, just because you don't get it doesn't mean anything. It is in fact a necessary component for, like, this genetic diversity is a necessary component for evolution to continue its course. And this is why I get angry when people don't understand eugenics and they talk about, oh, well, people would just be inbred and da-da-da. I was like, no, you are literally trying to get the best genes from everywhere on the planet that you can without completely destroying your traditional, makeup. It's literally animal husbandry for humans. We've been doing it for thousands of years.
Absolutely. So the prompt for this debate back and forth between him and Rob is, should you or would you encourage your children to mix races, right? Or to marry outside of their
Would you
race?
discourage your family for marrying outside of your race?
Yes.
Yes and no, right? So overall, yes, but I would encourage my children to marry for love or for advancement, right? If you can't find love, find somebody that's going to help you advance in society and gather resources. If you are marrying for love, I don't care about race mixing at that point, because two people that love each other that are going to have a family are going to be strong, and you can deal with the genetic issues if there are any later. And I mean,
So while that's your position, though, right? I mean, like that is your realistic take on it. We do need to recognize that in these competitions, we have to take a side, whether we agree with it and stand with it or not.
that actually would be my argument and my side, is because there's no need to debate on these excuse me, I might not know the word, surface topics. Is why I don't like a lot of debates. I'd rather have discussions.
It's ridiculous. And sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but okay, it's weird to have anybody say, "Hey, you said that Italian and Irish were two different races," when I've clarified that I meant ethnicities, but it's irrelevant either here nor there. When a person starts the debate with, yes, as a Black, Jewish, Irish lesbian, I want my grandchildren to be as dark skinned as possible, and then all you take away from that was he wasn't paying attention to what the guy said about Italian and Irish people. And then I turn my camera on and I'm like, yeah, I'm a Black woman. And but it's just like, never mind that the nonsense. That's what that. But I'm agreeing with what OG's saying. Like, I can't believe that I'm up here having this conversation. So I immediately draw on all my knowledge and go, well, I hear a lot about light-skinned people on the other panels that I go to. So let's go with that.
So,
didn't you agree to this? Didn't you agree to this debate or conversation beforehand?
No, bro, you don't know verbal combat. You don't know how it works.
So with both verbal combat and like with grid ones, right? Two people are put into a position where, yes, you have to debate. You can't sit there and go through prompts all night long. Eventually, someone has to take a side, even if it's one that you don't agree with. OG, my question is, if you were all right. So wait, you did just answer that, because the question is, his position in this is that, yes, I would discourage it.
Well, it's more nuanced than that. This is why I don't like a lot of these quote unquote debates from people, because they're topics that you really can't debate on, because it requires a lot of nuance. On this aspect. And it's like, because the answer isn't just yes or no unless you're a fucking retard.
Correct.
The answer is, and I go with Muhammad Ali, I want my kids and grandkids to look like me. But if I have to choose between my daughter marrying the blackest black guy out there or marrying a white meth head that's gonna beat the shit out of her, guess which one the racist white guy is gonna pick? The black guy.
Right. When she drives up to your house in a limousine and gets out and is like, "Oh, you should come visit her villa." You're gonna be
I'm gonna politely decline, and I'm gonna tell her husband I don't agree with their marriage, but I'm gonna love my grandkids and play with my grandkids no matter what, because at the end of the day, they're my blood. I'm gonna be disappointed. But I'm gonna be glad that my daughter and my kids are taken. No, that's always been my take.
My take has always been, it comes down to how they're being treated, what the quality of life is. And the thing is, like Rob Noor at one point is going to argue the aspects of financial side of things and political side of things. Those are circumstances that can change in the blink of an eye. You could be a millionaire today and a pauper tomorrow. Very, very easily. Same thing. I mean, my political views changed drastically.
What was your question about fascism? Before
earlier
we continue on race.
Earlier we were talking about qualified immunity, and I was thinking, and it's probably stupid, and I acknowledge that, because when it comes to political stuff, I'm like a fifth grader. If there's a fascist that is in control of a society, right, and you have that hierarchy that's going on. Why would the ultimate ruler grant any kind of immunity to the laws, even to those who are enforcing them?
Yeah, the question is, you wouldn't under my fascist state. Body cams and people like Joe Cool, if we lived in the area where we didn't have, or not area, but time period we didn't have technology, because you have to have people to watch the watchers, because they may be doing things in the name of the state or the community or whatever that is very bad in the long term for the state. And you wouldn't have something like qualified immunity. You'd have body cams and First Amendment type auditor type people, like specifically like Joe Cool, because I like the way he does it, and he does it as professionally as possible. He talks a little shit because that's just his personality. I think is funny. But you would have people that watch the watchers, and body cams. Like, for instance, if a person just didn't follow orders and something bad happened, oh well, that's not qualified immunity. But if a cop literally harassed a citizen, and like we saw on my show, like literally stuck his finger up the dude's butt to search him for drugs, that guy would face severe punishment and severe.
Yeah, but he
criticism.
found a lot of drugs like that in the past.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. That's the thing, is even
that is
like,
a severe violation to do with someone that is not arrested. If you want to do a full body cavity search, arrest them. And if you arrest them for no reason and you harass my citizens, my tax base, the people that I have to rely on to have a safe, happy nation for my family, as your fascist dictator, I'm going to deal with you in the harshest sense, because you've been given authority over your fellow citizen.
I wish OG was here for the first segment, or for the beginning before all this, about the qualified immunity. Did you see anything about that, OG, where a part of the law was left out by a clerk when they copied all the laws over into the one?
I'll send you the link for this
book?
video. That, oh my god, it's actually,
Like, if it's true and it's not just a troll, it's hilarious.
The thing is, the laws have always been recorded and done with backups. So if that county clerk did leave out a law or whatnot, there's a backup, there's a recording. So the law is obviously still the law.
No, he'll explain. Watch the video. Just trust me.
I sent you the video in Discord.
When I watched it, I'm like,
Check it
is
out.
this the fucking Da Vinci Code, or is this real?
It says video's not available anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. I'll get it from back chat. Maybe I fucked up something.
The link that you sent me, it says video not available anymore.
My bad. Hang on. I might have sent the wrong one. I'm not sure.
I already re-put it in there. It's already in there.
And polygraph lie detector in chat. This is why I laugh when leftists and people that are leftists like automatically go, "Oh, he's a fascist, he's a loser, I don't like him," because I agree with that. The fix is to support Americans, not the rich. But guess what? There's a caveat to that. The rich are also Americans, and if supported correctly, the rich are a benefit to society 9 times out of 10. They invest in society. They see that if society's doing well, it makes them richer. They don't get plagued by the ills of the impoverished. It's when they separate themselves from their fellow citizen and become, globalist, nationalist, leftists, that they actually begin to disdain the people from their native land.
I got the correct link into your Discord. That's my bad.
Okay.
I think I copied the wrong tab, and I re-put it in the chat in case I copied the wrong damn tab. I do that sometimes. There's too many tabs open on my screen. It's annoying.
There are very quite simply easy things that you can do and implement, or that we can do and implement as a society without even going full-blown fascism, but would require some level of authoritarianism. And menefrega, for those of you who don't know, menefrega is a fascist saying that comes from Italy that basically means I don't give a fuck. Fuck you. And it's the counter to the rules for radicals when the left wants to quote unquote hold your feet to the fire. Just repeat, menefrega.
All right. See, I knew you'd have good input on this. Yeah,
well, I mean,
John-
it comes to a time where you just have to fix the problems with your society. Like when it comes to the deporting of illegal immigrants, right? Well, they're deporting Americans. Menefrega. I don't care.
I don't.
We can fix it later.
They're not. Look,
Well,
it's one.
they aren't deporting Americans. That's
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
what I
my
was
point
gonna
with the
say. It's not
Minifreda.
deporting Americans, and
Yeah,
the
they're
idea of they're like, well, these people aren't criminals. Well, actually, and I mean, the fact that they're here illegally would automatically
there,
qualify as
there's
committing a
a there's a little truth to it. It just depends on how you want to dissect it, right? So the example would be if somebody came illegally, went underneath like some congressional ruling, right, or some executive order that allowed them to stay long enough that they could actually get a green card and then naturalize. But that's the thing. There is no protection under naturalization. You can become a natural U.S. citizen. That does not mean that you can't get thrown out really fucking fast. So
Yeah,
technically,
if you're a naturalized citizen, you can have your citizenship taken away at any
revoked at
time.
any given time, right? Now
And
there's
it's
another.
done. It's done just in case they become criminals and we can deport them.
There's
That has always been the law.
there's also a caveat on top of that too. U.S. citizens born abroad, meaning one of their parents were U.S. citizens. You have to go through the process of filing a birth abroad and all that. Like it's not real complex. It just
Yeah, we
costs a
all
couple
saw
bucks.
Bruce Lee the Dragon. We know.
But the difference is now you have a time limit. What most people don't seem to pay attention to is you have a time limit to get your ass to the United States and live for 5 consecutive years. If you don't meet that time limit, goodbye to your U.S. citizenship. Most people just flew under the radar and stayed. They have been for the last, I guess, 6 months pulling those left and right. They're trying to get rid of the dual
That's not
nationalism.
necessarily true.
I'll give you the. There's technically 3 laws for it, but 2 are technically the most important. You have a time limit. And they started basically all they're doing is enforcing old laws. Been around since 19.
If one of your parents is a U.S. citizen, like a actual like born in America citizen, and their parents are American, that time limit is null and void until you're 18 years old.
That time limit is up until you're age 28, by which time that person, we're talking about the kid, not the parent.
Yeah,
right?
the kid.
That kid has up until the age of 28 to get their ass to the United States and live consecutively. It's quite clear, right? Like not 6 months here. And 6 months over.
Okay. Then you're correct then, because I'm basing it off my homie and what he had to do because his mom was born in America. His dad is Canadian. They lived in Quebec. Like the boys were born in Canada, and they immigrated like when he was still like 3 or 4. They came back to the U.S.
Oh, well, no, he came back, right? But that was the thing is before the age of 28, it's actually not 18. I don't know why. It just works its way out to 28 because there's a certain age before that, and you need the 5 consecutive years effectively. But a lot of those people, because the United States has been going after dual nationals currently, just because this is the way the laws are written now, there's actually been a lot of people that have been pulled. But also understand that dual nationalism runs with a lot of tax problems that comes down with it.
Well, see, my thing is, I would respect birthright citizenship more if it was not that way for people whose one of their parents is American or both of their parents American, they're born abroad. Right. Birthright citizenship is actually supposed to be applied to people who are American, not somebody who comes out and pushes out a baby. The thing with the African American community is they were not considered people, they were considered property. And that's what birthright citizenship is for them in that context. And it is not for all black people. It is for the black slaves and their children of that specific time period. They are now citizens and they were made whole in citizenship and right under the law. It does not apply to anybody born in 2025 or the 1990s or even the 1950s or even the 1900s in general. It applies to the very specific slave class that was freed and then made equal citizens under the law. That's even why segregation and the whole separate but equal practices were allowed, because you could racially segregate, but everything given to those people, like in the public sector, had to be equal to their fellow citizens, because citizens, while at the time we can racially discriminate, they are entitled to the same things that you were entitled to because they are citizens and they are equal under the law.
No disagreement, but we'll be going through this for like the next, 10 years.
At least.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Oh no,
Well,
America's over with. Like the current system that we have now is like literally about to collapse. If you don't see the writing on the wall, you're retarded. Like America, the country, is going to last almost forever because the way the geography of the United States work. We might lose Alaska or Hawaii or the territory and islands, but the lower 48, we're basically a fortress. And like the Russians said in the Cold War, the only way we collapse is due to internal pressures. And we're not. And I don't know who I went over this with on my channel, but it was like a private, not a private quote unquote conversation, but one that we had off the channel. And I said it. I'll tell y'all like I told them. America is not Yugoslavia, and America is not the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union collapsed because the socialist Soviet republics were individual countries that were annexed into the federalized state of the Soviet Union that had their own culture, their own economy, their own shit that was just all made Soviet. And then their own military and their own military industrial complex was still their own. They were just puppet states of Moscow. So when the Soviet Union collapsed and you had all these independent countries break off, that wasn't balkanization, so to speak. That was just these puppet states getting liberated. And Yugoslavia was a mess because you had a bunch of ethnic groups that did not like each other because of their either conversion of religion or just clashes from time immemorial that had never had freedom for like 500 to 1,000 years. And they were hot under the collar because first it was the Austrians. They thought they were going to get their freedom when King Ferdinand was shot, or the Archduke-Bishop, my bad, not King Ferdinand, Archduke-Bishop was shot. They thought they were going to get their freedom, but then no, the Ottomans owned them, then the Austrians, and then the Russians and the Axis fought over them, and they thought they were going to get their freedom, and they never was able to get it up until now. And now, because they were never able to fight these issues out, Yugoslavia and the Balkans are still a fucked up place politically. And as soon as NATO and all this globalism ends, you're going to see a very bloody conflict pop off there. And there's plenty of places in the world like this. So and America is not like those two places. It is those two places are extremely specific conditions. You may see America split up into like country, like 5 countries with like the majority of the states, but I don't even think that would happen because the economies would be so fucked because of the way that we've kind of specialized each region. Like the Hunger Games, the way the Hunger Games show the region split up, that's kind of based in reality because those same places, that's kind of the specialization of that region. And I hate to say it like that and use like a gay little book, but the South and Midwest are agriculture. The West Coast is technology. The North Midwest and the Northeast is manufacturing, and that's just kind of how it goes. And only together does that work.
So what would your prediction look like if you had to make one for the breakdown of the United States?
There's going to be a very bloody conflict
internally. Like,
yeah.
What do you think the sides will be?
There's not really going to be any sides. The factions are going to be so split up. Like you're going to have when I talk about it, I joke around with people and I say you're going to have race mixing fascists. You're going to have capitalist communists. Like American politics is so retarded that you're going to have people that are literally just agreeing with their neighbor because holy shit, now we're shooting at each other and I'm scared. So all that matters is me and my neighbor pull through.
Yeah.
Fuck anybody not from my town or fucking, and then like you're going to see a lot of that in the opening years because like, here's the thing, right? I made this, we actually talked a little bit about some of this on my show today. I was playing a video game, A Colony Survival, and one of my pawns or one of my characters died because they were vegan, and all I literally had was meat. They refused to fucking eat because they were vegan. And like in a real world situation, that person would have been eating the fuck out of that meat just to survive. Yeah. So your ideology and your beliefs and all this shit you hold dear, when like there's a collapse or an issue, does not fucking matter.
I think it's going to come down to an economic situation where It's going to be more.
But that's what it always comes down to is economics.
But what
Because
I'm
if
saying,
you can't,
you're
if
going
you
to have
can't
the
feed
poor.
yourself,
I think it's going to be a situation almost like what we saw in France back with the French Revolution, where you've got, the poor class that's sick and tired of being stepped on and having nothing, right?
What it comes down to, and I've heard both Tim Pool and Dusty make this exact same argument, which is, would it not be immoral for you to steal rather than your child starve to death?
Right. Exactly.
that's exactly what it'll go
And
down
that's
to.
it.
It won't be the French Revolution because the
Nope.
French Revolution was ideologically driven,
Yeah.
and even within the French Revolution, this is actually why I give y'all my argument for liberals. There were right-wing liberals who wanted to behead the monarchy and who wanted to have personal property, and there were left-wing proto-communists that wanted to behead the monarchy and set up a communalist system. And the Commune of Paris predates communism, and that's what they set up. And then the right wingers and the left wingers fought and beheaded each other just like they did the monarchy. And that's that may be kind of sort of what goes on, is a bunch of eternal fighting, but it won't be the same. It won't be the echoes of the French Revolution because that was extremely ideological. It will be economics based. You will have people linking up because their neighbors are that hot girl over there needs me to go break somebody's jaw so she can eat and I can put my wee-wee in her. Like, that's what you're going to see. It's going to be purely economic and social. It's not going to be ideological at all.
Yeah, no. It's coming down to the have-nots are going to eventually figure out that we've been kept, segregated and standing against one another by the haves, right?
Yeah, that's too vague to call it the haves and have-nots, right? Like,
Yeah,
that's always a division within groups. They have
yeah, I'm
something.
I'm gonna say I'm a have-not, but I don't want a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I have what I need and what I want. Like, would I go live in a mansion? Yeah, sure. If I had the money.
I don't want to live in a mansion. And most people don't. Most people just want the government to leave them alone, for it not to be a constant, everlasting progression
People want to be able
of
to
oppression.
Most people want the government to side with them and leave them alone.
That's not true.
Yeah, yes, it is. Most people want to use the government to destroy things they don't agree with.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree there.
And be okay. They just don't want it to be used against them. And unfortunately, that's not how it works. Either you get power and you use power, because when you stop using power and you show mercy is when you get a knife in your back. You use power, you indoctrinate your own children, because if you don't indoctrinate your children, somebody else will indoctrinate your children. And you literally keep the system going as long as you can. You keep as many foreign influences out as long as you can. And whenever you let certain usurious people, and I'm not naming any one ethnic group because they're backstabbers and usurious people in every group. When you let these people take over and make short-term profits, and then you keep that system going for about 100 years, you can't do the surprise Pikachu face when your country is fucking dying. When you have your entire elite saying, well, you're all just numbers. You shouldn't hate each other and be racist. You're all just numbers to us. You're all just dollar bills to us.
That's the thing. And that's the point I'm trying to make, is that, like, we saw this really big, especially here in New York with Bernie Sanders, when the 1% talk started happening, right? Where 1% of the population has everything and makes most of the decisions, while 99% just works till they die. And, there's never a breathing moment.
Well, the thing about it is, like,
all of the racism and shit is nothing more than, and this is the rhetoric that we saw in New York.
The racism is natural. People don't like groups that are different from them. They don't like foreign groups coming into their country and telling them, Sir, let me tell you about your country's history and how it includes me. Like people, like, even liberals don't like that shit.
Oh,
they may lie about it. They may lie about it and say it's okay, but they don't like it.
I've already tried turning it off and on again, sir.
But what? Oh, but the thing is, though, is that a lot of it, even when it comes down to, you know, the big push behind like the tea movement and everything, um, it's been used as a wedge to make sure that citizens, you and I, can't get on the same page. And eventually, I think that everybody's going to set that shit aside, at least for long enough to look at those who are running the show and be like, excuse me, this is fucked up and no more. There's more of us than there are of you. The fact that it hasn't happened yet baffles me, honestly. Especially with the rhetoric that we've seen pushed in New York.
It's because there are not more of us than there are them. Like in the nation total, yes. But white and black and Hispanic Americans, like actual founding stock bloodlines, or even recent immigrants as far as like the 1800s, and like who've been here, people who've been here at least 5 generations, right?
Yeah.
There are a lot of us spread out through the country, but our big cities and our government has fucking airdropped these people into places like small towns in Minnesota, and they've strategically placed these, and it's done by both the right and the left. They've strategically placed these people to where they're out in that the Native American population is outnumbered in voting and in economics, because they are these elitists who care about the outside world and consider themselves globalists or citizens of the world, or will literally hire a shittier foreigner just to say fuck you to the native population and have that political power. That's why your services are shittier. That's why all the Indian coders that they could easily train Americans to do, or have people like Dennison doing, they say fuck that because it gives them political power. It gives them economic power over you. And that's why people who don't understand racism and don't understand exclusion and that's why they piss me the fuck off. Because if everybody's special, nobody is. If we open up our borders like a fucking whore opens up her legs and everybody's allowed in, then we don't have a country. We have an economic zone. I'm sorry, I'm an American. And if that doesn't mean anything anymore, then I'm going to create my own ethnicity in my own country with blackjack and hookers, and you're not allowed. And you'll have to fucking kill me to stop me.
I'll knock at the door. That sounds like a lot more fun than what a lot of us are living. And that's kind of the point, is that I'm shocked at how true Americans haven't, done more based on the quality of life within our country. Not done more because, we can only help ourselves so much, but the deck is stacked, right?
People would like to bitch and complain and argue with what flavor of Christianity they want to be,
Yeah.
and who's degen and who's not degen, than to actually build the society necessary to use that political power to enforce what they want. See, here's the thing. One thing I'll give Flo and the libertarians is a nation runs on its economy like an army runs on its stomach. Without logistics and the economy to back up your spending, you ain't shit. And if you don't manage that, you are not going to be shit. This is why I don't like usury, because usury, banking, for those of you who don't know what usury is, banking siphons off the wealth over time to the point that nobody can do anything, and people will defend it because of the short-term gains and say, fuck the long-term gains, don't even look over there.
Isn't it banking with interest, though? Isn't that because banking was fine?
All banking is done with interest.
Yeah. It used to be legal.
So there's there's banking with interest where they set a flat rate for how much they give you, and that's not usury. That's literally saying, okay, I'm going to give you a loan and you pay this much back. And even then, like if you set too high of a rate, people will call that usury. Like the Arabs will call that usury. So it's really, 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 really restricted depending on where you're at. Banking is. Because like the Arabs, they still have a banking system because you have to have a banking system in the modern world, because banking not only gives out loans, but it tracks and maintains everybody's money and keeps it safe from thieves.
Right. Well, you know how banking began in America, right? Was that you would bring in your gold, and then they would give you a note, right? But it was supposed to be exchanged for gold. We all know this, right?
Silver, not gold, silver.
That could be.
Yeah, I have a $2 silver certificate.
Well, there. Okay, so
I mean, no, the
So-
notes. I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what
So-
bills used to be, where they were, and it
they were
says,
promissory notes
silver
for
certificate.
precious metals. So the way SEPI, or I forget the word for it, coinage worked, right? Is your coins were minted of precious metal, and you would carry them, and you would carry paper money when you didn't want to carry so many coins, right? And if you had a large sum of raw metals, like precious metals, you would exchange those at a bank for silver, and then you would exchange your silver for minted coinage, or keep the silver itself and exchange it for paper notes. And what you could do is based on the reason that a central bank, or a minted currency, or a mint, the reason that the founding fathers spoke out against people printing money is because you would give them a shit ton of silver, a shit ton of precious metals, get your silver, and put your silver back in the bank for paper money, right? Well, they would print money, and that paper money is no longer worth the amount of silver or amount of precious metals that you put into the bank. And that's how inflation works, and that's how humans first got introduced to inflation. At that time, because people had to actually do everything for themselves, and they were hyper aware, and you didn't infantilize people into their fucking 20s and 30s. People were basically adults at 12 and had to survive and keep track of all their shit. People realized, oh, I put my precious metals into the bank, and now I can't get the same amount that I put out. And they kind of got very angry and did horrible things to those people. And that's how you got the 80. And I'm just playing, I ain't going to go there. But like, that's kind of, and like, they've done everything they can to make the population stupid when it comes to money and precious metals.
Yep.
And even more so when they took us off the gold standard and the silver standard, because it was never just the gold standard. We were on a gold and silver standard. All precious metals, land, and everything were calculated at the price of gold, and then silver was pegged to gold, and that's how you got your paper. That's how you got the majority of your paper money. There were gold certificates that were worth more than the silver notes, but our money was backed by gold and silver. It's kind of a redundancy for people who don't know. That's why whenever people argue with me, like dear friends who used to be bankers talk about it, I just get quiet, because it's like I'm not gonna undo the propaganda on a stream when I got somebody that used to work in there.
Yeah, that was something, actually. I knew that one. I knew about the silver certificate just because, like I said, I actually have one that my dad gave me when I was a kid. Yeah, all paper money used to say on it what metal it was backed by, or what metal it was representing.
Well, it was typically gold or silver for the paper currency in the U.S., and your actual change was minted in the copper, or in the metal, in like the precious metal that it was valued at. Like the penny used to be minted out of as pure copper as possible without like making it deform. Like gold coins used to be minted in
my dad.
karat gold.
That was something my dad gave my son, was a huge bag of old ass wheat pennies. Because way back because that's exactly what it was. Most of them are, or well, not most of them. I don't even know how many. I think that was the thing, was he was like, you guys have to go through them and check the years, but some are pure copper.
Well, what makes me laugh is when I'm talking to people about money and they say, "Oh, well, we can't make pennies out of copper; it'd be too expensive." That's when I look at them and give them Tucker Carlson and stare and be like, if you can't make pennies out of copper and quarters and dimes and nickels out of silver and your gold dollar coins because it's too expensive, then maybe, just fucking maybe, your money is fake and
Exactly.
your government's stealing from you because of
Exactly.
inflation. Because here's the thing, right? Do you want to know how to do away with inflation? It'll crash the economy for a short time, but how you do get rid of inflation
How?
is you start minting your coinage in the actual precious metals that they're supposed to be minted in.
Yeah, they don't even
And
do
you
that.
do away with that. Because you'll see the value of the dollar skyrocket if you do that, to the point it'll crash the economy because there won't be enough money.
Are you
to
talking
actually
about
pay.
gold press platinum?
There's some.
Yeah, I can feel the JFK bullet on its way now. Like, I can feel something bad's gonna happen to me now.
Don't worry, OG. I'll protect you. I'm a woman. I have a few more.
You can't protect shit from a 30-06.
Yeah, but they won't make a great shield, is what I'm saying.
I'm a man. I'll take the bullet myself. I don't need women to defend me. I'm not a new age.
Well, I'm just saying, hey, if that's their standards, you might as well, in the right circumstances, you can use them for your benefit.
And I am talking about gold press latinum. All right, gold press latinum would be the greatest currency ever.
Did you see the video? Sorry, I'm eating cookies. I haven't eaten all day. I'm fasting like Denizen. No, I'm a liar. I ate sandwiches earlier. Where it said that all of the gold that's ever been discovered, not just been mined, but ever discovered that we know about, is if you made a block that was 28 meters on all sides, and that's all of the gold that we know of.
Well, see,
block, 28 meters, and that seems absurd. Because aren't there millions upon millions, if not hundreds of millions, of gold rings that would account for more than that 28-meter block?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
right? That don't make no sense.
You're talking about a 28-meter cubed, though, when you say a block.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's 28 by 28 by 28.
Yep.
Right? And that volume of that block is massive.
Well, I understand.
Let me get.
I understand.
And here's the thing. All
almost
the gold
100
that
feet. I know.
Well, all the gold that we know of, right? All throughout human history, that gold has been watered down for like lack of a better word, because pure gold is very malleable and soft. So it's not good for the construction that people use it for. It's not good for the rings and decorations that people used it for. It's not good for even pure gold, even as far as like computer circuits go, like the industrial purpose, is not good. You still have to dilute it in metallurgy. So that actually makes sense, to be honest. So you said 28 meters. You said 28 meters cubed, right?
Yep. That's what they're saying, supposedly.
So that would be a 21,952 volume or
cubic foot
meters of meters of volume. So that actually makes sense, because gold is a very precious metal. It's called a precious metal because it's rare. Like rare earth is not actually rare. It's just hard to manufacture and refine. So like China, and it's also very dirty and filthy. That's how China's like, yeah, we'll give our people cancer. We'll be the industrial sector of the world. But we're also going to be communist with Chinese characteristics, and you're going to cow down to us in about 50 to 60 years. And that's the fault of the globalists, because globalists are fucking communists. McCarthy was right. There were communists everywhere. And I've even covered this part, right? Everybody in the 50s hated communists, but yet they got scared and sad because McCarthy did things to get rid of communists. for my entire life, ever since I was old enough to start studying politics, and I started studying politics well before the average American. I was 8 and 10 interested in politics, wanting to talk to adults about politics. And ever since then, I would see people bitching about immigration, bitching about the jobs leaving, bitching about this, bitching about that. It's been the largest fucking issue for voters up until now. Now that somebody's actually doing something about it, everyone's like, oh no, I don't like that. It's scary. It's scary. Oh no. Oh. So like it really pisses me the fuck off. And it shows it's one other reason among a million of why democracy and letting the common man choose the government and policies is fucking retarded. They're fickle retards. Because any change to a system is going to cause problems and issues, and righting the wrongs that have happened in our economy, happened in our society, is going to hurt us in the short term. But guess what? If we don't fix them now, when the cracks finally burst open, it's going to hurt us a lot worse and a lot longer if we don't fix them now. But I digress. I'll be all right or I'll die.
OG, I have to say thank you because this conversation had me go get out my firebox because I know I have some interesting coins that I wanted to look at real quick. And I didn't realize my passport's in there, and I actually need that in order to go. I was looking for it. So thank you for inspiring
Do you
me.
need your passport to go to another state for?
Yes, because now you can't fly unless you have a real ID. I have a driver's license and everything. It doesn't have the little star on it. So I need my passport to go to Nashville. How about that?
Go get your ID fucking fixed. My ID has a star on it. Like, that's a real ID.
Yeah, I know. It's just more
Pay
money.
the $35 to get the 10-year.
I have a valid passport, so why spend that money?
Why do you have a valid I don't even have a valid passport.
I have a valid passport because I went to Israel.
See, I want to talk so much shit to you right now, but I love you, so I can't.
I already did months ago.
Hey, that was a badass trip. I loved every second. I went to all the Christian sites with my daughter. We went to amazing archaeological sites. We
All right, I can.
day crawling for 5 hours.
Did you get spit on for being Christian?
No, I did not.
You lying.
I did not. As a matter of fact, not only that, we watched, it was Palm Sunday, the day before Passover. We watched a group of Hasidic Jews argue with fully armed fucking guards for the rights of Muslims who wanted to go up to the temple to pray, and they had shut it down. They wouldn't let them go up there and pray.
Yes, that's what they call Shakespeare on the roof.
It was a security. It was supposedly a security measure because the next day was Passover. But we watched this group of Hasidic Jews argue for their right to go up to that temple and pray. And
how did you know they were saying that? How did you know they were Hasidic Jews?
Oh God, it's very obvious. Actually,
why is it obvious?
Well, the way that they dress and certain the I can't think of what it's called.
Okay, so I gotta be a dick because I'm a Jew-mancer, all right? Those are not Hasidic Jews you're talking about. Those are Orthodox Jews, the ones with the curls and the dress. Hasidic is a flavor of Jew. It's typically your brown or your Hispanic people of Jewish descent.
I was also speaking. Well, that was the thing. Was I was
just
watching,
like the Ashkenazi are typically your white or your European Jewish people of descent.
Let me finish with the story. We're watching these men, like, because that was the thing. Was we found our way into this alleyway, and there was a bunch of wailing and screaming, and it was like, what the fuck is going on? And when the Muslim prayers start over the loudspeakers, because they play it over, the whole city can hear it in Jerusalem. Like 75% of the people in the alleyway immediately dropped to the ground to pray. And all that was left standing were the military people and this group of Jews, and some of the men from up front came back to a group of men in the back. Is that you, 10th man, a second one?
Yes.
Okay. And when they did, I went over and was asking them what exactly was going on because it was a little confusing. And so that's how it was like, and that was the thing. I brought it up. I was like, wait a second, don't you guys hate each other? Because that's what we're told in New York. And it turned into a whole conversation. It was actually really interesting. I don't watch the U.S. news anymore because everything, it so ill prepared me. There was one day, OG, where like literally I got up and because the time difference, you know.
When was your trip?
2017.
Okay.
It's been a minute. It's been.
'Cause I was about to pick on you. I was about to be like, you lying?
It was
'Cause the Muslim
small
prayer-
hat o'clock.
I was gonna say the Muslim prayer has been banned since December 24th, 2024.
Yeah, no, this was back in 2017. But like,
And that was due in part to the October 7th attacks.
yeah. Now
No,
it might be different today. Christians might be spat on and all that.
No, Christians have been getting spit on the trip to the Holy Land by
I didn't have
by
that problem at all.
Orthodox
They
Jews
were super
themselves, specifically.
They were super
Forever.
nice to us everywhere we went in the country. I had no problems with the people who actually live there. Of course, there's some like the Bedouins come in from the desert and like help sell shit at the shops, and they're like awful to deal with. They
Yeah, 'cause you're
borderline like
expected to haggle. It's not
Dude,
their fault if you don't know how to haggle.
no, haggling is fine, and actually it's fun. And I learned very quickly it's rude if you don't haggle. But
No. They love taking advantage of American tourists.
I
over
know.
there.
They kept what they would do is my daughter and I would be, and she was small when she was 16. Like she's a very small framed individual. Like all of a sudden she would like disappear from next to me because these men would pop out of their little bodega shops and they would grab her and pull her inside and would not give me back my child until I bought something. But so that group of people was kind of an issue. I thought Jerusalem was the worst place I've ever been in my life. I actually cried a couple times because it was just so just awful. They don't take care of it very well. And like I said, but
Yeah,
otherwise
it's because Jerusalem is split up into like what 3 or 4 quarters. You got the Christian quarter, the Muslim quarter, the Jewish quarter, and then the secular quarter.
Armenians. No, it's the Armenian quarter, and the Armenians are awesome, yo. I love those people. They were really cool. They were like, "No, come on, it's a party." They're like giving shit away and like literally they were all partying. It was great.
But
So she goes to Israel and you want to nag. I go to Lebanon and nobody fucking nags. What the fuck?
Because I like Lebanon. I support the yellow flag people. They're the only group. They're the only group in the Middle East that I actually like.
I hate those fuckers now.
You hate the yellow flag. You hate the yellow flag people.
We got such. So I was only there for I think like 10 days, but I absolutely hate those motherfuckers now. Oh god damn it! I have never been any place that required a security detail until I went there. I did not like the loss of my goddamn freedom at all.
Because of the Palestinians that we fucking settled over there.
They were.
That's why Lebanon is shit.
So at the time, they were basically popping off fucking rounds at Israel, right? I don't know what the fuck happened. I was the last person that should have been over there, right? But they were short staffed, and so I got fucking posted over that bitch. I have no idea.
Here's the thing, all right? The yellow flag people are awesome. All right, I would definitely buy them a hot dog, much like Denison would buy Antifa a hot dog. The yellow flag people are the only group, the only actual group where Islam and Christians are like safe and that have done a lot to help Christians. Like the yellow flag people is like 25 to 30% Christian, first and
Politically,
foremost.
though,
Orthodox Christian to be specific.
Politically, though, they fucking talk out both sides of their goddamn face when they're doing negotiations. That shit
Well,
went
that's what
down real fast.
everybody does, Josh.
No. It wasn't.
Negotiator.
People tend to actually at least try to hide it. They were doing it openly.
What year did you go over there? That matters.
Whenever fucking Israel and Lebanon were going at it, like fucking recently. I mean, obviously the during the whole fucking.
Was it before? Was it before or after?
After this was like last year sometime.
Oh yeah, no shit. No fucking wonder they were talking out of both sides of their mouths because Israel was doing that. The first side to stop shooting was going to be on the disadvantaged part.
Yes, and that was going to be Lebanon by force because they were fucking with our shit. And so that was the problem.
All right, those yellow flag people don't fuck around. All right, those yellow flag people will fuck some people up. They are the only other people that I like that is anywhere near the Middle East are the fucking not the Kurds. I don't know why the Kurds even popped in my head. I hate the Kurds. The Kurdish territory doesn't exist. Give it all to Turkey.
They did give it all to Turkey. That's supposed to be like
the Turkish should rule Kurdish commie lands with an iron fist.
I think they do.
What's the they need to send the RWS in RWDS in. You know what the RWDS is, right, Joe?
Yeah.
Send in the roots, boy. Send in the roots. But no, fucking it's the Russian guy. They don't like to be called Russian, but it's the redheaded Russian Muslims. I can't remember what country it is over there. Fucking it's not the Bosnians, it's the fuck is it? Who the fuck? If you ever see a fucking
Croatians?
No, it's the
Syrians.
Putin just had to deal with them because they were too effective in the Ukrainian war.
Asimov?
No. Azov are a bunch of retarded mercenaries. Funny enough, people get mad at me because I don't like Azov because they're supposed to be National Socialists. I'm like, they're literally retarded Wignat mercenaries. And then they got BTFO'd so hard that they had to be filled with conscripts. Funny enough. So, Josh, who was it that Russia had to reclaim as a part in, like, I believe it was the 80s and 90s. Russia had to move in and take back the territory because they revolted. It's the Russian Muslims.
Fuck, I don't know.
It's the white guys. It's the white guys.
Stan countries.
Not.
Trying to no, it's not one of. If it's not one of the Stan countries, I don't know.
It might be a Stan country. Hold on.
It's one of those times that where angry Casper would be useful.
Unironically, yeah.
Yes, he would.
Hold on.
I always enjoy Angry Casper. I think it's funny because we started off on such a bad footing, but now, I mean, I consider him
because he overreacts to things.
Lots of people do that.
Yeah.
I think you got to kind of get used to it.
He makes the issue personal and then says, "Why are you making this about me?"
Y'all were making me actually look up Russian history. I love you for that. Unironically, I love Russian history.
We love you too, comrade.
Comrade Tavarish. Thank you very much. Let's see.
I have a very short list of.
The only thing I believe about Russian history is whatever that thing is about where Anastasia was like, her kingdom was taken by the bad guys, whatever that is. They turned it into a Disney movie. That's the only thing I believe of the whole thing.
Do you accept the Disney version of it?
Verbatim.
Chechnya. There we go.
Oh, I see. I should have
Chechnya.
known that. Yes.
Yeah, no, Chechnyans. You do not fuck with Chechnyans. All right, Chechnyans are like redheaded fucking white Muslims, and they're those are like when you hear like Wignats or like racist white guys talking about like Aryan supremacy and like Aryans, like those are like old whites. Those are the fucking white people that
All
white
they're
people.
Scottish people that speak Russian.
They look like that, but like the Chechnyans, like that genetic lineage is literally the part of the Aryan lineage that did the whole Aryan invasion like several thousand years ago. The motherfuckers on chariots, they were like all 6'5", built like brick shit houses, and like do nothing but work out every day. That's their fucking culture. Like the fucking like Chechnyans, like the yellow flag and the Chechnyans are the only people I like anywhere near the Middle East. And I only like the yellow flag people because they're from another organization from the 1940s that was friendly to another group of people that I really like. They still do the funny salute. The yellow flag people.
So did Mom Donnie.
Well, so did Saddam Hussein and his Ba'ath Party.
See, of course, back when you were talking, that's what I was originally looking for. Back when you were talking about money, I knew there was a shipwreck where the coins had been set into they set them into a bunch of wax and they were shipping them back to, where is this? Where were they going to? I don't know. They were using the British East India Trading Company, and one of their ships had sank in a storm, and they found the shipwreck finally. And all the coins, because they were set in wax, were good. So I actually have a small handful of shipwreck coins. But they're all copper and silver. But they're pure copper and silver. Just interesting little, money thing.
The Chechnyans are literally. It goes to show you what happens to a group of really strong people when they allow their numbers to collapse and they get kind of taken over by ideologies, because things change, right? The Chechnyans are well known as being like badass fighters and like really kind of smart people, but their numbers ain't shit compared to the rest of the world. And they wound up being conquered by Islam. Before then, they were Orthodox Christian, and then before they were Orthodox Christian, they got conquered by the Khazarian Empire. If you don't know the Khazarian Empire was the only Jewish empire to ever exist, because the Khazarian people, royalty, converted to Judaism when the Jews were kicked out of Israel by the Romans. That's where you get your Ashkenazis from. Unironically. Yeah, I've studied human migration patterns, especially those of my enemies, for years and years. I love being a wealth of historical knowledge.
Yeah, I usually am studying the stuff that's older than what you're talking, although I love this history too.
Well, the thing is
fascinating.
Well, the funny thing is, like, I love talking about like Aryan history, like actual Aryan history, not funny mustache man Aryan history, because like the Aryans went from they were in like, so the Aryans are like thousands of different like isolated tribes that are genetically related, and they're all the precursors to white people. And they spanned out the central steppe from like the Caucasus Mountains all the way to the northern Indian mountains in Tibet. And like
I was talking about those guys the other day in the Caucasus Mountains.
And they went north. They went up into Russia and went to the east and the west. And you can find their bodies in the Gobi Desert in China. You can find them in in the related to the Sami peoples in Finland and northern Sweden. You can find some of their remnants in Central Europe. The Celts, a lot of the Celtic cultures art is based off of Aryan art, and like what makes up white people are like Anatolian farmers, the Aryans, and like one other group. And the Aryans are like the largest group. And a fun fact, a lot of them had yellow eyes. And then a lot of Anatolian farmers and people that lived in Europe at that time had green eyes. That's how you ended up with blue eyes, unironically. Yes, people in existence today do still have amber colored eyes, by the way. They're yellow eyes, and they are extremely rare. Like super fucking rare. I love when people are being racist. Like when I talk to black nationalists and Hebrew Israelites, some of them be like, "You a blue-eyed white devil. You know blue eyes ain't natural. It's a mutation." I'm like, you know what's even weirder? My people used to have yellow eyes. What you got to say about that? And they freak the fuck out when they find out that I'm not lying or not fucking with them. It's funny.
That it is.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to derail everything. Me and Josh got carried away.
It's
You ruined the whole show.
You didn't ruin shit, man. It's super interesting, and it does actually play into what it was that we were watching anyways, right? So I ain't mad at you not one bit. In fact, I'm glad you're up here.
Only thing I was trying to put forth there was the fact that, sorry, I apologize.
No, you good. Go ahead, homie.
No, I was just trying to point out the absurdity of the light-skinned conversation. I had never heard of such a thing until I came to the internet. I mean, maybe here and there. I think it was mentioned on Stern a few times here and there, but like, I didn't really understand that and I think it was life imitating art. Because I don't know, I remember media over the years, and you know, in the movie, the old black lady be like, "Oh, look how light skinned her baby is." But like, I'm not sure where that came, but I've always found it super absurd.
Well, you are a gay dude from Canada. Your struggles would not be the same as a black person from the American South. Like, you also don't have the sheer amount of black folks that the American South does. Like,
I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is
inner city, so you wouldn't know about that. Like someone like myself, like proximity leads to racism. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, I find it weird. Like, because when I'm over on OG Do Dirties, they'll be like light-skinned MFer, they'll be joking around, right? And it's funny. But when it's actually like, "Oh, well, you're light-skinned, so you don't even know what it's like to be a dark-skinned man," and I think it's a really weird. And then then it gets into the skin bleaching, and I'm like, wow, this is fucked up.
Imagine hearing that shit naturally as a white man and being blamed for all. I can't imagine.
I can't imagine.
I've just explained to you the bullshit that poor people in the South have to deal with.
Oh, I believe you.
Because like, if you're not blackety black, you get shit talked on you because you're light skinned. Or if you're white, you get shit talked on you. So white Southerners and people who live in the city have always had to deal with that shit since like the 1960s. It's annoying as fucking. You, like I said, you don't really. That's why I say shit like, if you're American, don't speak on it, because you just don't
drives
know.
Me crazy.
You don't know what it's like. Like, you can talk to people on the stream all day long, but until you
grew up around,
you don't know.
Okay, so I grew up around a lot of black people, right? Preston and Africville and all that stuff, right? Well, Africville was gone by the time I was around, but so like, I never ever heard of this. Like, one of my best friends growing up was black. Like, his family took me in when I was homeless for a while there. I never ever heard anybody ever say, "Oh, like, one of my friends that obviously was what we call mulatto, but apparently now that's offensive. I don't even know, man. I can't keep up with the nonsense. Like I never heard a discussion. Oh, well, that fella is darker skinned than the other black fella. So, and I never, ever one time in my entire life did I ever hear anything brought up about that till I saw it in media first. So, you know, maybe this was going on before that, but not where I'm from.
I'm telling you, where I'm from, it's been going
I get it.
on forever.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of this stuff when I came to YouTube was shocking to me, because I come from a very multicultural city called Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
Racism is very rare there.
It's
Well,
the same where I grew
it
up.
was before 15 years ago, anyway.
Well, I
Right?
got to bounce. It was awesome talking to you. I'm sorry for derailing. Maybe y'all can get back
You didn't-
on
You didn't
topic.
derail at all. You were awesome. Thank you so much for coming up, OG. I appreciate it.
No problem.
It's good to see you. Enjoy your video games.
I will.
Much love, homie.
Right now, I'm gonna go sing shittily.
Oh boy. Are you still there, Josh, or did you eat and fall asleep?
I'm absolutely here.
Great. No, I don't mind you, Josh. Just, I understand the parody that you present, but I'm just trying to explain to you, you know, how things will happen.
You're
Not
both pretty.
should or ought or not or
Yeah, you'll
winking,
have,
blinking, and nod.
you'll have to forgive me if I dismiss what some person on the internet randomly like predicts in the future. Almost
I
everybody
understand.
does that.
I'm right almost every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I keep hearing that same thing too.
I understand.
All right. Shall we go back to some humor?
Whatever you want to do, dear. I'm hanging out. I may have to go in an hour, but in all honesty, I really don't want to watch the Menendez brothers. I had to live through that as a young man, as a young gay man, and have to listen to the accusations and like I already had. It's gonna traumatize me if I watch this with my husband in an hour here. So that's one of the reasons why I switched devices. Like he got me to watch Monster Ed Gein. I watched the Dahmer thing. Both of those messed my brain up. I
He
watched.
did a good job on the Dahmer show.
I
He
know,
did
but it's too much for me, man. I can't. It makes me want to do violence to people. It makes me want to be Dexter.
the Dahmer series actually made me feel bad for him. Like genuinely.
Me a little bit too, but yeah, I know. I get you.
I actually felt bad for the man, you know, because
Yeah,
it
well, he
was
had a fucked up
abandonment.
childhood, didn't he?
Yeah. Severe abandonment issues, and fucked up parents will do that. And he's a prime example of
Well,
the,
supposedly the father thought that he was doing something good. Supposedly,
yeah, right. Yeah.
indulging in his proclivities. Yeah.
All right. Let's watch this nonsense for a little bit longer, shall
And it's
we?
pretty bad that this nonsense is more uplifting than the other nonsense. They're just trying to make people laugh, man. Wasn't trying to hurt nobody.
You know, what kind of bothered me is it's like, okay, so this is a blood sport arena where, yeah, you're going to take some
I
ad
say
hoc
that to him in a
personal
few
jabs.
minutes.
Hang on, let me finish, dude. There's going to be ad hom personal jabs when you're talking blood sports, but I was really disappointed that Rob got so stuck on it. Like you were talking and like it was actually a lot of projection because he wasn't listening to what you were saying. He was just stuck on the freaking. It's like, oh man. And for a second I had to wonder, does he know 10th Man is gay? Cuz like it's almost like he threw the insults about you sucking penis at you like it was like you were supposed to get upset about it, and instead you were like, yes, I did 2 hours ago. It was like, oh my god.
Yeah, and at the end, we didn't get to that part on Dusty's because I had at that point. I wish this debate was with anybody except for Porky Pig, and I'm not saying because of his obesity. I'm talking about because like it's just you know, and he does this micro machines. Anyway, go ahead. It's he says, "Oh, I didn't know the 10th man was gay. Apologize to the homosexuals." But I like halfway through this, I go, "No, I'm gay. I'm married to a man."
Yeah, that is what showed how much he was actually listening. Is you talked about, yes, I have a husband, and you said it multiple times. It made it funnier when he thought he was jabbing at you by pretty much
Yes.
like calling you a homosexual, and you were just like, yes, yes, I am. That shit just made it hilarious. I was dying personally, but all right, let's watch some more.
You want to try
Do
to take the
you
debate
care
seriously?
What? Oh,
about what's
Now
good
that
for you?
I'm answering.
or what's
Now
good
that
for
you
the
want to try
children?
to debate, now that you
Which
want to
one's
try to
better?
take the debate, now that you want to try to debate the debate seriously, I'll answer
You
you in a
asked me to
serious
turn my
point.
camera on.
Now that you
So
want to take
now
it
I'm being
seriously, I'll answer you in a
serious.
serious point. The question is, the prompt that you're defending is, parents should discourage
Yes.
marrying outside of their race.
For the
That's
sake of the
universal in
grandchildren,
all
yes.
cases. In all cases.
For the sake of the grandchildren, yes.
Okay, so if someone's 80% Irish, 20% Italian, they must discourage marrying anyone that's not 80% Irish, 20% Italian, or else the
Nope.
grandchildren
But for the
suffer.
same reason as a lot of black people who go for skin bleaching, right? You'd want to stay pretty close, so it's kind of ambiguous.
No, it's not ambiguous.
Yeah.
You're making the affirmative claim. This
It
means you're
makes it more
endorsing the
ambiguous.
statement.
Yes, it does.
It means you're endorsing the statement, right? And you can't prove that that would always universally be the case. Would you rather the child marry someone that acted more similar? For example, you acknowledge within a race there could be vast differences. For example, it could be that someone is a rabid left-wing atheist or a hardcore Christian nationalist conservative and both be white. So if you're a Christian nationalist conservative, would you rather your daughter marry a Hispanic Christian nationalist conservative or a white Antifa member liberal?
sorry, I had to mute because my dog's all excited here. I want to point out the argument about like the political stances is kind of silly because you do get people who shift around their political stance. You know, maybe if they're hardcore, I could understand that being a factor, but I don't know. Josh, you're an extremist. Do you think you could ever change?
Sure, things change all the time. Just depends on what you're talking about. An extreme change? Not likely. But you
But-
could change. You could change this here and there.
If you had a daughter and she was talking about
No,
marrying
wouldn't tolerate
a
a
liberal,
fucking thing.
if she's talking about marrying a liberal, would you discourage
Would fucking you throw her out of the house faster than shit.
it?
I told you I'm an extremist.
My goodness.
It's done. Be the same concept. If one of my kids came up to me and told me I was gay, they would be ejected from the house.
They're not mutually exclusive.
They may not be mutually exclusive, but if the argument is that we should discourage universally, why would we discourage based on race opposed to other factors?
Because it has nothing to do with the parents. It has to do with what's going to be a better outcome for the grandchildren.
Okay, so can you cite me the study that anyone that marries outside the race would have a worse outcome?
Everywhere you see it every single day.
Okay,
You
so
see black people discriminate against lighter skinned people.
okay, so you're giving
over and over and over.
you're giving specific
On
examples
a daily basis,
in a
I see
very
it.
hyper specific way. But are you 100% any race?
Yeah, mostly.
Okay, what's
Yep.
your race? You're 100% what?
Non-binary, transgender, paleo, vegan, ghost.
Right, there we
Wolf
go.
every second Tuesday.
Mhm.
Also,
There
with
we go.
black,
When all
Irish,
else
Jewish
fails,
woman.
when all else fails, make a
I wish
poor
they'd listen
joke.
to
Hey,
that.
it seems that you're good at that. But I'm not surprised, given your inferior genetics that led to that face. So not surprised you would come up with a weak
I'm
joke.
50 years
Joke would be
old, bro.
fine. The joke would be fine if it was funny.
How
but
old are
it's
you?
just not funny.
How old are
41.
you?
41.
41.
Yes, and I'm not.
Well,
I couldn't even tell you the
facts don't
specifics
crack.
of my race. That's true. It doesn't. I'm still
That
looking
is
good,
true.
and I definitely don't look like an Antifa guy that was just going down on a dude 10 minutes ago. For you, we can't say the same. The point is that
That
I don't
was
even
actually
know
about
my racial
2
ethnicity.
hours
I
ago.
couldn't tell you my racial ethnicity because there was mixing
No?
within it. Now, if you made
Me
a
too.
broader claim, claim specifically about like white people not mixing with black people, maybe you would have more of a
Nope.
leg to stand with, though it's not necessarily something I would agree with. The problem is you've already conceded that race could be within white races, for example. It could be the same within Asian races. Like, in fact, you could even have racial differences depending on how deep you
But
want to go with
Antifa's
this.
not
with
part of
people-
the prompt, Rob. You're going on.
What the fuck are you talking?
Sidetracks that have
Where
nothing
did
to do
I
with anything.
where did I say Antifa there?
Oh my God! Did
The
you lose
point I'm
track of what
trying
we're
to make.
talking about?
The point I'm trying
It's
to
about
make is
discouraging.
what the fuck are you talking about? You just said that I mentioned
Your
Antifa. The point that I was trying to make here is you're saying that it
From
has to do
going
with looks.
So pause.
The fact that
your.
Yes.
So is he trolling me right now and thinks that I said Antifa, but he said Antifa because he's in such a blubber and a like disconjointed mental state that he thought he heard me say the words he was saying? Or is he just calling me Antifa and trying to like the non-binary ghost, like trying to retort that way, like with nonsense?
He was trying. It's because of your black cap and whatnot, and the black.
No, but I'm
ribs, black
saying,
stuff. What
I'm
he's
trying to
doing is
understand.
he's
go ahead.
confusing. He's confusing. Like, I see where you are like bringing. He had called you Antifa, but he's trying to keep the
Right.
ad hom part of.
I get you.
He's trying to keep
That's
the
his,
ad
he's
hom
doing that. I
separate
get you.
from the debate, but it doesn't really work that way because he brings politics into the debate. And so now, you know, if you're
Right.
going to bring political stances into whether or not you should discourage the intermarrying, then yeah, then of course the Antifa comment would naturally come in and play a
Yeah,
part.
yeah. I just wasn't sure if he was stupid or trolling.
I think it's a matter
You think
of
he's trolling?
I think he's trying to keep part of it separate, like I said, like the ad homs are separate from the debate, but then they end up getting intermingled, and he misses. He's thinking 3 steps past what he already forgot what he said. You see what I'm saying? Because that was an ad hom, it was a throwaway. It wasn't supposed to be part of the debate. But then he brings up politics, so now what he threw away earlier is in play in the debate, and he doesn't realize it. I think it's kind of hard to follow.
I think he's just. I think he's just I think he's just saying, just trying to call me Antifa. Like he's negating my entire argument and just constantly calling me Antifa. Like that. I think that's what level of troll he's trying to do.
He was doing that just as an ad hom, you know, like trying to make you out to
Mm-hmm.
be a joke. Like, why would anyone
Yeah,
listen
yeah.
to you because you're the worst of the worst?
Of
You know,
course, yes.
You're an
I am.
Antifa homosexual. Your words don't matter if nobody's gonna listen.
Yes.
But it's such a mess. The whole thing is such a mess, and it's absolutely hysterical.
It was on purpose. Well, no, see, because I'm trying to feel out where this is going, right? Because it was very abrupt. We're sitting up there. I'm making jokes. I'm not really there to debate. I'm just there to fuck around, like I'm doing here now, right? All of a sudden, out of the blue, he shows up. Someone in chat goes, "Rob versus 10th Man," puts a super chat up, and I'm like, this is very interesting. Not the first time I've seen this. Let's play. Let the games begin. So I just turn on full troll mode. Like, what else am I supposed to do?
Yes. I recognize that. I don't think he knew that about you, though.
But, well, he learned a lesson, didn't he?
Sure did.
Not particularly.
The fact that I don't even know what my race is, because you're seeing that there are people that were in the white race collectively that you're saying isn't a race itself, because actually white is a collection of races, would imply that it would be okay to marry within whites because we would all look the same.
So is black.
That's irrelevant to the point I'm trying to make. Why should I?
No, it's not.
Yes, it is outside the point. That
No,
we're
it's
trying to
not,
make.
because an
Yes, it
Aborigine from Australia is going to be a similar race to people from Africa.
Okay, should
right?
they discourage
Just 'cause
marrying?
there's cultural differences does not make any difference.
Okay,
We're
so
talking
they
about
should
the
discourage.
race.
Okay,
It's
so
not
they
about culture. This is
listen to
about
me.
race.
Listen to me. It's difficult to have a debate with you because you're unwilling to engage and listen and have a back and forth. And when we get serious, then you try to joke, and then when I joke, you try to get serious. This is a sign of an
No.
unconfident, weak debater. So listen to me. You
Because
just
you
said
don't know
that
what
you
you're
just
talking
said.
about, Rob.
I do know what I'm talking about. You're refusing to listen. If you just said that, despite the fact they're a different race, there's very closeness between an Aboriginal and an African.
Mhm.
Should we discourage the African to not marry the Aboriginal?
How many people lie about what their ancestry is?
How is this a response to the question I just asked you?
Why do they lie about their ancestry?
How is this a response to the question I just asked you?
It's going to be a lot easier to lie about your ancestry if
Okay,
it's ambiguous,
I guess
right?
if you're unwilling to engage, you're not even willing to engage at a base level. I just asked you a blatant question,
No,
and
I'm
you
not going to
literally
let you
completely
lead me.
avoid it.
You don't
You
lead the
completely.
conversation,
It has nothing
sir.
to do with leading. It has
You're
nothing
not
to do
even
with
talking.
leading. Unlike you,
Why
I tried to
wouldn't you?
engage in the
Then you
conversation.
give me an example
I
of why
tried to-
you
I-
wouldn't.
Here's what
Because
I
you haven't
suggest.
given one example
You
of why
talk-
you wouldn't.
You talk for 20 seconds, then I will go.
No, give an example as
I'm
to
giving
why
you 20
you
seconds.
wouldn't
Quiet.
discourage it.
I'm giving you 20
Go ahead.
seconds.
I'm kind of shocked at how he missed the input. Like you did respond. It just didn't come in the form that I think he was.
Yeah, he knows they want to dictate the answers. That's what all these people. This is how I destroyed all of them and caused this entire huge nonsense with Sarah and everybody. Was because I literally refused to engage in his nonsense. If you want to throw nonsense at me, I'll throw nonsense at you exactly the same. We are not. He does not. He's not willing to engage in an actual conversation about it. He wants to do the, oh well, if there's no objective truth, then that's an objective truth statement. So you've just proved that you don't know what you're talking about. Blah, 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 blah. No, you don't lead the conversation. You don't tell me how to respond. I will respond in the fashion in which I wish to. Then you respond in the fashion that you would like to whatever I say. Otherwise, we go full British rules, or what is it, Cambridge or whatever, and I get this many minutes, kind of like what Sarah does. I get this many minutes, you get that many minutes, but this isn't that. This is blood sport debating. So you don't get to sit here and do your little Andrew Wilson tricks and pull your, epistemological hermetics and the objective truth of the blah, 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 blah. No, bitch, I am not going to engage with you where you set the rules of the game.
Then why don't you just?
There are no rules to this game.
Why
I set my rules to the game and you set yours, and then the audience can decide from there who wins and loses. But you're not going to tell me, like you're my daddy, well, we're going to engage in this specific fashion where I ask you a question and then you have to answer in the way that I want. Yes or no, go fuck yourself. Make me answer the way you want. Try to make me. Try to make me, because you're not going to be able to. That's compelled speech. Not going to happen.
What's your question, Josh?
I didn't have a question. Well, I had a question. So basically,
no, right? You want everything to be set up on your rules, right? You want it to be your way by your supposed logical dimensions of a conversation, and then you want to be able to judge it based on that. That's not how it works in blood sport debates.
How do you know how it works in blood sport debate?
Because I write the motherfucking rules, because I'm king of motherfucking YouTube. And if you want to come at me with nonsense, I will come at you with 10 times more nonsense.
There you go. He had an expectation. It wasn't met based on his rules, because everybody else is playing somebody else's rules. And this is what you got. I get the concept. I just don't understand why you just participated in the debate. Why just, if you didn't want to engage, don't.
Am I going to rage quit?
Well, I don't know. You could just say, I refuse to debate him.
No, you don't understand. Oh my God, you're so new to this.
Josh,
oh,
not like that. Don't take it so serious, Josh. The point is that it's a.
Then concede the debate.
He doesn't have to concede, but he also doesn't.
No. This is the guy. No, this is the guy that is in the bar. Sorry.
Every debate comes down to which personality is strong enough to take the reins and run the show, and that's what this is. At this point,
of course,
fighting over who's gonna control the pace.
Yeah, of course.
down
And
to
so,
who's got
what's the case? You didn't do anything. That's the issue. And he called you on it. You said, "Well, he doesn't know. He learned a valuable lesson." Yeah, he knew. He just called you on
No.
it 2 seconds ago, talking about,
No.
I went serious, you went joking. I went joking, you went serious. You just flipped. Okay.
Well,
Oh, you do not get this.
well,
Yeah.
with these blood sport debates, that's the thing, okay? Is
If
that
it's the case, hold up. If it's the case that it's about charisma, Rob won before he even fucking showed up.
Sure. No, that's why he won
Well,
the
what are you
vote.
talking about?
Yeah.
More people
Oh, you
like
don't.
Rob
You
just
don't.
based on
Yeah.
him than they do you.
yes,
Because he
you are
brought
right.
his
That's it.
chat with him. He brought his chat with him. Yes, that paid for this. Yes.
Yeah,
Speakeasy is on that is in that circle. So yes, Rob Noor won before the debate ever began. So why not have fun with it? Because that's the thing.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Josh is so ridiculous, dude.
Oh, okay,
Within
wait.
See,
blood
this is
sport,
the no. This is the problem. You're like the governor on The Walking Dead, right? You got all the logical reasoning as to why you're keeping your zombie daughter in the closet. We get it, bro. You're crazy. I
Except
understand,
for-
but this is what it comes down to. This is what it actually comes down to. Is you're the guy in the bar who is being way too loud at the table beside me, and I asked you twice. And
Well,
then on the third time, I just grab you by the throat and drag you out the door. And then your buddies try getting involved, and a whole bunch of people get hurt. And then in a book I wrote for fun later on,
10th man,
you know,
10th man, put
a
the
whole
reins
bunch
on.
of really bad stuff happens, right? And then you go,
Handcuffs,
wow,
hang
that
on.
guy took this way too far. And what I'm telling you is, no, what I'm telling you
God
is
bless
this.
America.
No, this is what it comes down to is there are no rules. If you want to engage, see, a lot of people call me crazy on the internet, right? They say, oh, this guy's crazy, blah, 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 blah. And I've asked the same question.
Story after story.
I've asked the
after
same
story
question
after
many
story.
times.
Is that all
If
you do on the
I'm
internet?
as
Is just, I tell
crazy,
stories?
if that's all you do, if I'm as crazy
Yes,
as
apparently.
people say I am, why would you want to fuck with me?
That's all
Somebody
you
start
can do is
saying
just sit
powder
around, tell
toast.
stories. If this. Look, it's real simple.
Yeah.
You put yourself in an environment. I guess we play these weird games, right? If Home Dude fucking paid, if one of his guys paid to have you debate, concede the debate in like 3 seconds. Guess what? You just
No.
wasted his fucking money. Oh,
Nah,
but
fuck
Retarded.
that.
no,
Hang
I
on.
want to give him a show. Okay,
Yeah.
that's
And
simple.
that's what Josh, that's what these debate night competitions are about. Is a
Correct.
show.
And 10th Man was basically 10th Man agreed to the rules the moment that he fucking showed up.
I was told there were no rules.
And that is the thing is in
And then
these
there you
debates,
go. But the difference
when we're
is you're
talking ab-
sitting here crying about it.
when we're
Who's crying?
he's not
You.
crying.
Oh my goodness! You take the reins. I can't do this with him.
I think you're putting a little too much literal meaning to things. It's not that serious. None of this is that serious. This debate isn't even that serious, okay? That's why it's a blood sport. That's why within blood sport you can take those personal jabs at each other and still argue the point. You know, I'm surprised they didn't start in with, your mama's race during this, They could have, and it would have been totally within the bounds of blood
The idea
sport
of it
debate.
seems childish, but worse,
It
watching
is.
this is
Blood
even
sport
worse
debate
childish.
is. Blood sport debate kind of is. That's
I
just
can't
the
actually
nature of
stand.
the beast.
I can't actually hear 10th Man. I can't stand the idea of hearing 10th Man sit here and cry about it. To me, it
I
comes
don't
across
think he's
as crying.
crying about it.
You
He does
you
this
you
anytime.
are an unbelievable person.
What? Because I don't.
To-
What? Because I don't have empathy for you. I
Who
don't
heard
care.
anybody? Who? What are you talking about?
Nobody's actually crying. You're putting too much literalism.
No,
here on
10th
what's
is
going
actually
on.
normally, this technically is his personality. But he gets extra, I got a story to tell when he gets upset about something. That's how
No,
you
I
know
just
he's
can't
upset about something. I got a
believe
story, I got a story, I
how
got a
dumb
story.
you are. It's
It's got
unbelievable.
nothing to do with dumb. All your complaints that you've made, you participated with.
Oh my fucking Jesus! There's no way this guy's serious right now, right?
You know, I'm
Dead
not
serious.
taking either.
No, I think
at
we
this
just met.
point, I'm not taking
I think
either of
Josh
you
and I just
serious.
met. He doesn't understand who 10th man is. Go ahead, Josh. Explain it to us.
You're a gay man that's annoying.
Correct.
Simple. That's it. Nothing more needed.
And he concedes to that point.
And end of whatever debate. We don't have to sit here and cry about it. What? So what next? Does it matter?
Nobody's crying about the debate, Josh. That's the thing, is he's not crying
He
about
said
it.
this. Did I understand? Mama, it's been crying left and right.
I don't think that picking them apart and like going through, number one, having a good laugh I'm having a good laugh at this debate. I have had a good laugh at this debate, and I don't give a fuck.
This
But I don't
reminds
see
me.
it
Sorry.
as being crying to pick them.
See? Another story.
I don't see it as crying to look at it and be like, in the aftermath, trying to figure out which way did he go, because there's the thing is maybe someday these two will get together again to make easy another buttload of money.
No,
and
I'm
maybe
banned from
he'll
there too.
have hurt. Oh, you are? Shit. Okay, so then maybe you guys can make me a buttload of money
With it.
and have it out
Let's
on
hope.
my channel. And maybe they'd have different tactics for the way they come.
Well, like
The funniest part of this whole thing is that Rob Noor is making gay jokes at 10th Man, not realizing 10th Man is fucking gay. That makes me laugh, and I don't care. I don't see
it
anybody.
makes me laugh too. It's hilarious.
Every time you're like when you were just like, yeah, I was sucking dick 2 hours ago. I was like, oh my god, and he missed it. It went over his head. It's hilarious.
And I don't care what people on the internet say.
Well,
That would definitely be true.
Guys. Oh my goodness. Hang on here. Let Mama get real for a second.
Just let him yap. No, don't. Just do what Dusty does and just push through.
Listen. This is the internet.
Have you
Hold
known me
on.
for the
Are
last
you
year or
going to
two?
give him unsolicited advice? You know how that turns out.
Oh shit! I forgot.
You're getting close to your
My
year
bad.
right now, lady.
All right. Let's
You think he just walks around the women he works with and just goes, "You're getting close to a year."
Oh fuck.
Give an example as to why you wouldn't discourage it.
Much like my opponent, I refuse to engage with his questioning and instead will give my argument as why this is bad. Universally, we should not say that parents should refuse, should not allow their children to marry outside of race. This is because we should value culture more than race, and you have to marry someone that's outside of your specific race almost entirely. Therefore, it would be absurd to try to find someone that is an exact match for your race. Therefore, it's absurd to make the universal statement that we should have parents discourage marrying outside the race. This would mean no one would ever get married. You have 20 seconds, then I'll respond. You refuse to engage, so this is how we'll have to do it.
What's white culture?
I'll give you 20 seconds.
Culture? There's no such thing as white culture, right? So what you're saying is what?
Are you done with your 20 seconds? Are you done with your 20 seconds?
You don't run the panel, bro.
I refuse to answer your questions if you refuse. I refuse to answer your questions if you refuse to answer mine. And so what I'll do is continue to repeat the point. His point would be that we would have to do genetic tests on everyone. We'd have to do. Look, the fact that you can't engage in the back and forth. The fact that you can't engage, as long as you're silent and allow me to,
because you're scared.
It would be the fact that you can't engage in a back and forth is fine, but the constant interruptions just belie the fact that you think that you're some confident person. You're not. That's why you feel the need to constantly interrupt.
I am because I know what I'm talking about.
If you know
just
that you're
lot of
confident in your
words,
position, then you would allow the other person to speak unfettered. I'm giving you the opportunity to speak.
Then you have making a point.
Nonetheless, it's because you're constantly interrupting, and so if you give me 20 seconds,
you're
I will
triggered over
give my
calling you
further points.
fat-headed.
You give me 20 seconds.
All you're doing is just making
that's
noise.
fine, then we can talk over you. Now listen, I know that you're real good at using that mouth and opening it all the time like that when you're blowing dudes. That I understand. I
That's
understand you're
right.
good at that. That's not
I'm a
exactly what
verbal
these debates are,
assassin,
though.
motherfucker.
That's right. I heard that's because of all the venereal disease that you carry in your mouth. So I'm sure that's a name that your
Nope.
boyfriends give you. Nonetheless, it doesn't impress me here. Now, if you
I just want to point out that if you're sucking a lot of peen, it's not, well, n- let's just, I think Rob needs to redefine venereal diseases. Just saying.
We're so
Make-
close to him jacking off, dudes. I got him so befuddled.
just no personal insults and constantly interrupting.
Have
I'm
you
sure
ever
you can talk.
reached?
What?
Just saying, I've got him so befuddled.
Yeah,
He's
you are.
literally incoherent with like rage and emotion, and I'm like, is this guy for serious right now? That's why in a minute here I'm just like, are you serious?
Yeah, this it is pretty funny. I don't care. I will laugh at it.
Faster than you. I haven't reached around to dudes like you. No, I don't reach around like you to dudes. No, that's something that's neat to you. But that's right. I don't reach very far. It keeps me from jacking off the dudes that you would want to, as you do on a daily basis. So I don't need to do anything with the reaching that you need to do. I don't need something to restrain me. It's quite frequent that people like you think that you get to, but now most of us aren't doing those sorts of things. As you've admitted, you already admitted that you blew dudes. What was it, 2 hours ago is when you were blowing dudes?
Yes.
Yes, very good. Now, did you brush your teeth afterwards, or is this the reason that you're so mush-mouthed?
Yes.
Still stuck
So
up
now
in there?
pause. Now
Yes, you did
here's the
brush
part. Now
You must not have done a good job.
he's gonna say after this
Of
at
course
the
you
end.
didn't do a good job.
No,
Nonetheless,
he's gonna say after this at the end. I didn't know he was gay. I just told him, yes, I'm married to a man.
Yeah, I don't think he heard. I don't think he heard you. I think it all went over his head. He's in the debate. He's yeah, and that just makes it funnier, man.
Yes.
I'm actually glad he stuck with it because that in itself is hilarious, and that's not a dig at Rob in any way, shape, or form. Even if he caught it and it processed that yes, you are gay. The fact that he still goes on like this, it just makes it so much funnier. I love it. Even if he had caught on and figured out you're gay, I would have hoped he stayed talking to you exactly like this because it's way funnier.
Yes, but then, so what I'm trying to say is that less than 48 hours after this was when the Trippy Cast thing happened. I think it was the next day. And then she gave him unsolicited advice, and then shit really got out of control then.
Yeah, I don't want to go into that whole
Mhm,
war.
mhm.
I've got friends on both
I
sides.
get you.
I've caught enough smoke for being neutral. Don't, love you guys. Love all of you.
Made some
I
raisin
will
toast just
imagine
a minute
this.
ago.
If I had to choose between a family member of mine marrying outside his
So,
race, or if
you
we had
still
to
have
share the
not
same
given
race,
one
I'm not going to talk
argument
to you. I'm
as
not going to leave you
to
talk. I'm just going to
why
constantly
you
interrupt over
wouldn't
you the whole time. So I gave the reason why, because your discouragement would
Support
be
your
that we would have no one would be able to marry whatsoever, because if I'm 80-20, 80 Irish, 20% Italian, I would have to encourage my child to marry someone that was exactly 80-20, or otherwise they'd be marrying outside the race. You haven't been able to answer this, and nor am I going to give you a
That
chance
makes
to answer. I'm going to talk over you
absolutely
the
no
entire
sense
time.
whatsoever.
It absolutely makes sense, because this would mean that you would be
No.
unable to marry outside the specific
Saying
race
more
makeup that you
words
have.
doesn't
And
make
so if
you
someone's
right,
an
bro.
80-20 person, this means you wouldn't have to be able to marry outside it. I'm talking about the
Mm-mm.
fact that universally the affirmative burden's on you, that you would have to be able to say that we
No,
should
no one's
universally say
calling
the
for
parents should
incest,
discourage
bro.
this. That's not
That's
the
where
case.
your mind's
But
going.
that's not the case. We shouldn't have this be universal. In fact, quite to the contrary. I think that it would be far more important for parents to support their children
No,
in
you're
the decisions they make,
proposing
particularly if we
incest.
were going to
I'm
say
saying
that we, the
demographic.
idea that you would say that no, it should be racial that be more important is nonsense.
No, it's the same
The point
basic
is that you
demographic,
keep saying,
bro.
you're saying something about incest. Of course, that's something that would come to a dude that's blowing other dudes'
No,
mind like
because
you.
that's
No,
what you're
I understand
advocating
you're
for. You're
interested
saying
in
there has to be
sexual
the exact
degeneracy
same
and
thing, and
deviancy.
that would only be family,
totally
right, dum-dum?
I know that someone
Would
like
only
you
be your
that's interested
twin
in
brother,
sexual
right, or your twin sister? That's what
So the
you're
only-
going down the path
Okay,
of.
I'll
That's not
respond to this
addressing
one
the prompt.
question. Okay,
You
I'll
are
answer
not
this one
addressing
question.
the
I'll
prompt.
answer this.
I
Are
hope
you
I
so
get kicked off
stupid?
here because
Are
I
you
will
so
troll you
stupid?
the rest of the fucking night if I don't.
care. You control. Are you so stupid that
Oh,
you
I
think that
can't.
the
One
only
of us is
people that
gone.
would? So do you think that
Oh,
the
bro,
only people that could
I'm
be 80,
gonna
20%,
get in your
80
head
Irish?
so
Are you
good.
so
Look how
stupid?
red you are.
Are you so
Look
stupid?
how
Are
red you
so-
are. You're out of breath.
No. It's probably because the
You've been
lighting
out of
here.
breath
Also,
3 times so far.
you
Get
think-
some cardio, bro.
I don't think I'm out of breath. I think I'm talking
Address
far
the
faster than you.
prompt.
You think I'm red because that jism's still stuck in your
That
eyes.
is
You're having
a
trouble seeing.
false
You
narrative that
literally
you
think-
presented
you
as an
literally
argument.
think-
Your
you
argument
literally
is
think
terrible.
You are so stupid.
You don't
are
get no
so
more of my
stupid.
camera. I
You
want to
are
lay
so
back.
stupid. You are so stupid that you
Oh,
think that the
Rob.
only possible person that could be an 80-20 relationship.
Yeah, you said they'd have to be the
relationship would
exact
be your
same
family
thing
member.
as blah,
That
blah,
is
blah,
so
blah. Makes no
fucking
sense
stupid.
whatsoever, Rob.
If I'm 100%
What you're saying
Italian,
makes no
if I'm
sense.
If I'm 100% Italian, does that mean the only other person that
Is
would be
there such
100%
thing as
Italian is my
100%
sibling?
Italian?
Yes.
No,
There's not.
because everybody has a little something in there. So what you're saying
Prove it.
makes no
Prove it.
sense.
Prove it.
Ancestry.com, bruh.
Okay.
You proved that there
Ancestry.com
is.
exists
You
now.
made the assertion. You have given nothing but red herrings, false narratives,
Okay.
no actual
Is there a
argument about the
person-
prompt
That's
whatsoever.
not true. I
You
made
suck at
arguments
this.
about the prompt. I made arguments about the
No,
prompt. You
see,
refused to
other
engage.
people get
That's so-
befuddled by your
Again, well,
nonsense.
just when
I
you try to
don't.
It has nothing to do with befuddled by nonsense. You
This is
refuse
why
to
you're
engage
scared
with
of
the prompt.
Dusty, too.
I'm not
because you're
afraid
terrible.
of Dusty. I'm not.
Yeah,
afraid
you
of
are.
Dusty.
I watched you get
not-
scared of him.
You watch
Oh,
me get scared of
if you say the wrong thing, I'll ban you. You like sound like a scared
Did
old
you hear
man.
that quivering voice? Did you put that?
Yeah, that
No, what it sounded like said that someone that misrepresented me was banned. He was removed from the channel.
The
that day. He
name
came
of
back
your
2 days later,
panel
right?
was The Left is the Party of Violence. It was
No,
in
it
the
wasn't.
name. Dusty just wasn't catching on or watching his chat.
That's not
You
true.
suck
That's
at
not
this.
true. You're a
That's
liar.
why you're
You're a
scared
liar.
of real men,
You're a liar.
Rob.
If
You're
I'm scared of real men. I'm scared of real
Yes.
men. That's the argument here. How many
Yes.
people watch your channel?
I don't do shows.
Oh, you don't. You don't do much of anything
Here
other
and
than
there.
blow dudes. Dude, you get a nice audience when you're blowing dudes, though, right?
No, I'm an asshole, so most people are
Oh,
scared of
you
me.
use your asshole more than
Yeah.
you use your mouth. Not
Nope.
Not
So the
surprised
things that
there.
I say.
So far, we know you got jism in your mouth, jism in your eyes. You're blowing dudes 2 hours
And
ago,
I know
and
that
you use your
you
asshole quite
can't
frequently
support
with
your
dudes.
side of the argument.
Of course I can. You refuse to listen.
No, you already lost, bro.
You decided to meme your way through and tried to interrupt constantly, refused to
You
answer questions.
already lost.
I didn't already lose.
This
We'll
is
see what
called
the-
verbal combat, not
That's
fucking
right.
huggy kisses, fucking Care Bear countdown, you dumb pussy. You're a fucking
Right.
pussy. You're scared
okay.
of everybody. All you do
That's
is
it. That
talk and
must be
get
it.
red-faced.
That must be
The
it.
fact
No,
that
no,
anybody
it's not that my
watches you
face-
is
it's
adorable.
not that my
No, what
face-
it
it's
is
not that my
people like
face
to
is any more
feel
red. It's
like
not that
they're
my face is
smarter
any
than the
more red.
host.
It's not that my face is any more red. It's just that
No,
you got
it's
jizz in your eyes. That's all
people
it is.
like they don't like
It's-
to be
that's all it is.
challenged, right? And
Look,
your
you've won.
intellect doesn't challenge
Listen,
anybody. That's
We'll
why
see
people like you.
objectively, your claim is you've won, right? So we'll see what the audience says.
I know I won.
Okay, we'll see what the audience
You
says.
did not make one argument that was valid.
That's not true. I made many arguments. You refused
Okay.
to engage with them.
What was it?
You refused
Name
to engage.
one.
I did.
Besides the stupid 80-20 nonsense.
I made the 80-20 argument. Your argument was that could only be your
10th man, I gotta give you credit. You are you do a great job at fucking getting people all wound
Well,
up.
because
off.
but I don't. I like to play, right? So
Yeah.
if somebody wants to play, then we'll play, right? I had a debate a week or two before this with Marilyn, and we were talking about homeschooling, and it was very respectful. Marilyn and I, we're just having a conversation. Not
I
this.
think that's the thing is this is a blood sport arena, so people should actually kind of expect this to some degree, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So what is yelling and just saying a lot of words that sound like you're actually saying something, but you're not? How is that an actual debate?
Yeah, it's not. Hang on, sorry.
So that's just my
There's gotta be
perception
a
of it.
problem with StreamYard. I've heard of other people talk about this shit happening with
Start
StreamYard where
echoing.
it gets
Yeah,
choppy.
yeah, it does. Yeah.
That's why I took down
Why is?
what we were watching.
Oh, yeah.
Tried to give StreamYard the
Do you mean
opportunity
that
to work
it
itself
starts
out.
feeding back on you? Is that what it was doing?
No, the chat's saying that the video and sound with us
Oh,
is
no.
choppy. And it's
With both of us?
I think so. Ag, is it resolved itself?
Mm.
Give it a minute
Just
here.
make sure it's
Let us
coming out
know.
of both of us, because you might need just to refresh your browser.
It's still going on. Shit. Or no, he said it resolved itself.
Oh, good.
Right. Yeah. No, both of us are choppy. What the fuck, StreamYard? Nothing's changed on my
No,
end,
that's
so I
just
don't know
StreamYard's.
why.
It's just that it's a piece of trash. They made all these changes. They're like new YouTube creator studios, and then now they charge you double for it, and it breaks 30% of your streams. It's ridiculous. Most people have started to migrate to other things like that one Grid uses. A lot of people just use Discord now instead of StreamYard to do the actual OBS.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about OBS too.
Mm-hmm.
I might have to start looking into it.
Yeah, usually the only way to fix it is to kill the stream, start a new one.
Well, fucking A.
Yep. I mean, that's what Dusty said, and that's what I've always done anytime. If it's the same type of choppy, I'm not sure. Like, I'm not experiencing it, so, and I don't know.
Yeah. It's not on our, like, we can't see it.
Only on the YouTube thing.
You guys are the only, I wouldn't even know what's going on except for you guys saying about it. I hear 10 and perfectly clear, no choppy at all.
Something they messed up when they changed StreamYard.
Go figure. And then you pay all this money for it just for them.
Not me no more. I ain't paying for shit.
Good for you. But
like I was told Dusty, that's why I donate to him here and there. It's better than me wasting money on StreamYards myself. And I can come and go as I please, and there's no pressure.
Well, speaking of donating, I could most certainly use a good grift, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, I'm not monetized or anything, but feel free to Cash App or buy me, send me coffee. What's up, Grid? Is it still all choppy down there, guys? I don't want to stream your episode. No, it's gone now. Again, see? We made no changes. It's absolutely
then it's just StreamYard being a trash. See, I thought the only time it really did that was when you did a raid and you switched over. But I don't know. I haven't streamed for so long, so I don't know.
Yeah, I had made no changes to that. But no, though, that whole debate I thought was actually hilarious. For the simple fact of, you got to look at it through the right lens, right? Where, there's going to be a prompt to argue, but it's blood sports. They call it's back again. Oh my God.
If it's not blood sports, then he acted way more outside of any type of candor. Like what? Who is that appropriate debate conduct to say? What race do you think I am? What do you expect me to respond to with that? Just want me to scream the N-word at you? I'm like, I don't understand. I mean, it puts me in a Michael Richards position, right?
Vibe, how you doing? Oh, damn it, Vibe, I just put you up. I just asked.
He realized I was here and
Vibe
he took off.
Back in 10 minutes. No, he says he'll be back in 10 minutes. Vibe's a good guy.
Mm-hmm. I I forget why I'm
Guy's
mad
a
at
good
him.
guy.
I'll try to remember it before he comes.
Um, I just cleared my dock, so hopefully it's not gonna be choppy anymore because I just closed out a whole bunch of shit. My laptop's not hot or anything, and I haven't had this problem with a stream yet. So it's got to be something on StreamYard's
Who
end. I have like
knows?
next to nothing open at this point. But
I say you're doing a lot of complaining with very little donations, little to none. I don't know if there's been donations.
for real, no. I actually let me look. 'Cause I haven't
Make
looked
me
at
click
it.
my tongue.
Dude, no.
People hate when I do that.
Not my circus. Thank you very much, my dear. I appreciate you. That is actually see, I need a fun clip. I need some fun clips put together to reward people because not my circus. That is the first Cash App I've gotten off of doing streams.
Oh,
So, or wait, it's the second one I've ever gotten. Second one. Because Chuck in Tennessee beat you to
thank
it
you, not my
a few
circus.
times ago. I appreciate you so much. I gotta put. Oh man, see, I used to have some good ones too, tucked away and saved in, like the Grinch screaming. Have you ever seen that one?
Maybe
Okay, I gotta find it
like
just
from
because.
the Jim Carrey movie.
Nope.
So the original
Hang on.
cartoon.
No, hang on. I found it.
Is it that weird one off
And
TikTok?
hopefully- No,
Oh, is it the one
I love
when
this.
he's at
First time I
yoga?
ever. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, the yoga.
Vines.
First
We all
time I
know
ever saw
about the
this, I
vines. We know.
literally to tears.
Release all of those sounds that are trapped in your mind. Sir, are you okay?
I'm a little messed up.
All of those sounds that
Kills me. Absolutely kills me every time I see it. The first time I ever watched it, though, oh my god, when I saw it, I laughed to tears for like 5 minutes. My ex thought I was insane.
My husband
Yeah.
does that.
You know what, Grid? That's a good idea. And I actually do have a really long Ethernet cable out in the living room. I bet I could run it to my room. That's the hard part is like I stream from my room because we do not have very well insulated walls. And I do have a teenager, and my teenager is very annoyed when he hears me. So I have to stay in my room like a good mom. Oh, it
He wouldn't have
sounds
done
silly.
too well growing up where I grew up because listening to people drunk, listening to bluegrass music till 5 or 6 in the morning was a daily occurrence.
Wow. That would drive me insane. So
No, those were
community
the
I live-
nice nights that when you didn't hear beer bottles smashing.
I had actually
It's when the
the
beer bottles
community
start
that
smashing. That's when the flash and lights start showing up, and those are bad nights.
yeah, that's no cool.
Well, you know, life ain't never been easy living in the ghetto.
You know what's funny, Grid, is I had a tower like forever and I decided it took up way too much room. And so like I got rid of my monitor. I still have the tower, but it is so outdated. It's not funny. But the last week I've been actually like I should get it. I should update it. I have some awesome programs in there to play with. Um and I can actually like I have a actual music writing program in there that people used to use called Fruity Loops. A lot of fun, actually. um, anyone who's ever heard of it knows that stuff is like a blast to play with. But that's from that's part of the lore. The backstory of Beth is way, very long time ago when I was young. I actually was a event promoter and used to throw raves and hung out with a lot of techno DJs and shit. And there were some good ones around here, actually.
Oh my God, were you there? Were you? No, you weren't on Dusty's earlier. Oh, it was too funny. So Paige was there, and I don't know Paige. I guess we've interacted a few times. I remember talking to her once before, but I didn't know that was Paige. And I found out she was a lesbian, and then I think I was on Denizens or one of those guys. I don't even remember where. Dusty's. No, it was Dusty's. And they started talking about Hot Wheels. Right? You know, the little cars for kids, and Power Wheels and all that stuff. And then she said hers had like Batman on it or Superman or something like that, like a male character. I said, do you think that's what made you gay? And she goes, no, I don't think that's what made me gay. She said, what I think probably made me gay was hanging out with my father working on engines and stuff like that. And I went, gay. And it was funny because it's the exact opposite as you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because the girl doing butchy things, it was funny. Because I thought about it like this is, if I say gay right now, it's going to be the most absurd thing ever, and also hilarious. So it was great.
Oh goodness.
So, are we finishing the debate, or are you shutting it down?
Yeah, I killed it just because we're getting choppy. I'm trying to
okay.
use a little less here. I
And
think
see if
Vibe Buddy was
it's
popping
still
back
choppy.
by. It
Okay.
is still. Is it? Ag, are we still choppy?
No. It is.
It is.
I don't know. Who's on first base?
No, it's who's on second.
Oh. Who's on home then?
I have no idea.
Is it what or thingamabob? Whatchamacallit?
We lame ass people.
If I would have known how things were going to turn out for everybody, I probably would not have ever gone to Verbal Combat. Like I was saying earlier, I was invited there. I said, no, I'm very cautious about where I go because I get banned everywhere. And people are like, no, Verbal Combat's blood sports, bro. Blood sports. And then I think I was on Teriak's show and suggested that I would do that interview. And then a day or two later, I showed up on Easy's, and he's like, did you say this? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, why would you say that? And I'm like, because I'm a journalist. And he's like, he's like, you're banned. You're not allowed to talk about my friends. And I'm like, what? And then people are like, that was a threat. And I'm like, okay.
You do get a little ready sometimes, though. Do you realize that? Right?
Do they have the same type of outcry when a lady loses her job and their police, their wonderful police, post her face all over their Facebook page saying that she got a DUI and it messes with her entire life? Do they have the same type of outrage about that? If not, then wah. I'm not going to go by your moral rules and your laws, and you get to do whatever you want because you got more people. Nope.
I've seen some interesting. See, of course, now this one's on the wrong one. It's hard because I end up saving a lot of clips, but to my other account, right? The one that I use when I go on everybody's streams. I need to just pick one and stick with it.
With your sock counts, troll.
Well, no, I have like my main one that's my name, and then I have this
I
one,
got
the
two.
one for the channel. I do, of course, have an account under a different name when I just want to lurk and not be seen or
See, I don't
talking
have
to
one of those.
I have one just so that, I don't, because sometimes I just want to be able to sit there and
I understand.
not get into a total conversation. Stop doing that. I don't want.
I found out 2 or 3 years after the fact when I was on my like 2-year hiatus, 2.5-year, whatever.
Mhm.
Like nearly 3 years after the fact that my husband was in the chat all during the lockdowns, well after the lockdowns. And one day we were just talking about something and he's like, yeah, I was this account. And I'm like, are you serious right now? And then I went live and told Bones and everybody that was used to be on the show. And I'm like, the sock account was my husband. And they're like, are you freaking serious right now? Like the worst troll ever said the most horrible things about me ever. And it was my husband down in the chat the whole time.
That's hilarious.
Hilarious. That's how much of a troll my husband is. So all these people on here are just like literally child's play to me. You're like, oh, you get a little bit thready. Well, you guys don't want my husband on here. I'll tell you that much right now. Because my husband advocates for me to drag everybody to the fullest extent, right? And I hold back out of like empathy. But like, he's like not this, he's like a wild animal.
Hi, Vibe. How you doing, sweetheart?
I'm doing
It's good
good.
to
How
see
are
you.
you doing? I saw that you were live and couldn't resist coming in.
I appreciate
How you
it.
doing, 10?
Yeah, we're.
I don't see how that's any of your concern.
Why
I'm
are you being
fucking
really nice,
around. Come on.
Dick?
That's what kind of fucked up shit is that
You
to say
don't
to
always
somebody?
want to push it off into drama.
I don't think that's any of your concern. I say that to cashiers. It's hilarious. When the cashiers looked at my husband's. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Have you ever had the cashier where you say, they say, how's your day? And you're like, great, how's yours? And they go, yeah, the boss is working the overtime and I wasn't supposed to be working this shift.
Yes.
And you're just like, oh God, shut up.
You get stuck there for 20 minutes. Yeah.
You're like,
Yes.
I didn't mean it.
I'm so sorry. Yeah. I just walk in the one store that's closest to where I live. Every time I go in there, I'm just always like, hey, thank you for being here and working today because I know you guys are overworked and underpaid. And I appreciate that you're here to, bring up my soda and my salad. So I hope you have a
Let
good
me
night.
tell you something.
I
I
kicked
got
off with
two.
these.
Sorry, I apologize.
Still popping Joe? God
I didn't mean to cut it out. Is it?
yeah, Joe just came in.
All right. Well, before you shut down, my husband always has like jewels on his nails. Not always, but like a lot of times when we go out places, and the cashiers will be like, "Oh, I love your nails. Did you get those done, or did you do them yourself?" And they're like talking to my husband about his nails. I'd be like, "Excuse me, he's married. I don't appreciate when people hit on my husband. I'm just, I'm totally joking, right?" But the other day, I'm becoming better as I get older at dealing with social situations because not always is it justified to just start screaming at some old lady in a grocery store, right? So,
Hey, real quick before
yes.
before you tell the story because
Yeah.
it is being all shit here. I think I'm gonna restart the stream since StreamYard is
All
being a
right.
pain in the ass.
I might have to go in 10 minutes, but do it quick.
All right, Vibe, come back, okay? Everybody, come back. I'm gonna
Are
restart.
you going to put StreamYard in the back of the StreamYard, or do I meet you on YouTube side?
I will. I'll send you the link. I'll pin it in YouTube and I'll send it to you in Discord.
All right.
And Vibe, come on back, okay? I'll see you guys in a couple minutes.
All right, copy that.